Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show.
Oh, my God.
To talk to Neil, call 567-0560 toll free for Dade and Broward, or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
How young is too young?
He was America's golden boy, the one who could have been, but never was, and really didn't want to. Oliver Stone brings to the screen the tragedy that shocked the nation. JFK Jr., starring Will Smith.
Yo. JFK Jr., 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 yo. JFK Jr., yo. JFK Jr., yo.
Oh!
JFK Jr., yo.
Whoa. JFK Jr., also starring Joe Pesci.
He was an enigma. He was like a serpent trapped in a cockpit. Whatever the it was. Hey, we're all tickets here. Would you but me?
Will Smith stars as JFK Jr. You'll watch it, auguring into a theater near you. The one with the lights on. You know, so you can see better.
Check it out.
10:01 at 560 WQAM. It's that day. It's the 28th of July, baby. It's one day before the big day tomorrow, and we still get screwed with that ball game tomorrow. Greg Reed had 48,273 calls yesterday afternoon saying
no
to that Marlins-Phillies game tomorrow afternoon, us getting preempted early and having that stupid pregame show at 12:30, and we still have to carry it because we're obligated contractually to put that piece of turd on the air whether we like it or not.
You turd.
And of course, nobody will be listening. And we'll take away an opportunity that we have to have a massive influence on getting people off their asses. There's good news, though. In spite of the fact that you people in the media here in this town continue to be dumber than sawdust, including Gary Nelson on Channel 4 News. How is it possible to be so stupid? The good news first. The good news is that the absentee ballots are being cast and that they're having a hell of a lot more people. See, what they really thought when they wanted to put this crap over on the public, they thought that, Thursday, the 29th of July, everybody's out of town, and they'll, have the usual, like maybe 10% of the people will vote. It'll be all of the people that they're siphoning money to, making all these promises to. The FIU people, the Space Transit Planetarium, the museum people, those people will go out and vote. Everybody else is out of town. Guess what? Wrong. As a matter of fact, it's the 29th of July. It's going to be hotter than hell. It's going to be 110 in the shade tomorrow. There's nothing else going on. Is there anything going on in this town?
No.
Not a damn thing to do. So it'd be a great day to vote tomorrow, 2 or 3 or 4 times, as long as you vote.
No.
We got the ratings coming out today, and very shortly they should be downloading soon. I think it's going to be a precipitous drop for this radio station and this show in the spring book. And why is that? I don't know, because every spring the Arbitron people up there in Beltsville, Maryland, they lose our audience. Now, either that's because they're sampling, because they assume that the audience goes away after Easter and Pesach, which is possible starting in April, or because they really do, one or the other. But the spring book has been really crappy, not just for the station, but for this show in particular, even on IOD the last couple of years. In the spring, everybody, nice to know you, see ya. April, May, and June, in addition to which we have a Death Knell April that will be still going as part of this book when it comes out, that we're not going to drop off. So I have a feeling these numbers won't be among the greatest in the history of WQAM, but we'll do the best we can. They'll be out very shortly. And all you radio nerds that are listening right now from all these desperate pseudo radio stations around town, stand by, because we're going to read every number in the book. Why the hell not? Every number that comes in. That should kill a couple good hours. So anyway, the good news is the absentee ballots look pretty heavy. It could be a much heavier than anticipated turnout tomorrow, which is a real good sign for the, if you ask me. Gary Nelson on Channel 4 News this morning in their report on this penny sales tax. Well, he's there with Mayor Penis. And he's saying, the opponents of this are saying it's over a 15% increase in the sales tax. And Mayor Penis is saying, they play games with numbers. Anybody can play games with numbers. And they show you on the graphic on the screen going from 6.5% to 7.5% is actually a 15.6% increase in the sales tax. And then Gary Nelson says, but if you buy something for $10.75, it's only going to go up to $10.95, which is really an increase of only 0.9%. Yeah, 0.9% of the price of that particular item. That's not the issue. Talk about playing semantics with numbers. It's still, no matter how you slice it, a 15.5% increase in the sales tax amount from 6.5% to 7.5%. That's not playing with numbers. That's a fact. They just get through showing you 1 minute, and then a minute later they're saying, well, bada beep, bada boop, all this other crap. The only people who are playing with numbers and playing with your body are the ones there at the commission. And all those other jackasses, all those shills that they have surrounding the mayor. Well, we just want to be sure you understand this isn't another one of those broken promises deals like we had in the past. Yeah, like the American Airlines arena, is that like what you mean? That Mickey Harrison deal you lied about, you lying little piece of turd? He's a good one to talk about broken promises. Gets elected on a fraudulent promise that he breaks the first day he gets in office, makes a deal with a multi-billionaire, and then he's casting aspersions at Norman Brayman because he's got a lot of money. What a little hypocrite. You're not fooling anybody with a brain. That's the operative part. Anybody with a brain, okay? That's the most important part. You're not fooling anybody with an IQ larger than their thumbnail. And as far as all these people you're making the promises to, if they're that stupid to really believe it, good luck to them. Then, of course, we got our editorials in both newspapers today. The Sun Sentinel, a little more squeamish, of course. The Sun Sentinel's really not sure how the people in Broward are looking at this, which I'm sure is askance, and probably laughing their ass off, too. And the Sun Sentinel says, well, you're kind of like, yeah. And then they get to the very end of their editorial this morning on the bottom of the page and say, well, if voters say yes to the penny per dollar sales tax, Miami-Dade will become, this is the greatest, Miami-Dade will become a regional laboratory for traffic problem solving. A regional laboratory for traffic, just like they always have been over these last 20 years, just like that first 11 miles of train that nobody rides that they gave us for over $1 billion. If voters say no, expect more gridlock and exhaust fumes and hope someone comes up with a better idea. So they're really saying kind of like a lukewarm yes. But the Herald, of course, the Herald, as you knew, the Herald who never met a Mickey Harrison that they didn't like, who never met anything around the Herald down there, around their building that they didn't love. The same Herald that helped to put over the flop. In fact, that word is right in here. Where the hell is it? In the Sun Sentinel editorial it says, so far, Miami's mass transit system hasn't won many converts. Metro Rail has been a flop, and efforts to expand it have been losing propositions. Flop, F-L-O-P, flop, flop, flop. Say it with me, flop. I love hearing that, flop. $1 billion flop. And the Herald, the same people that said, how great it was going to be 20 years ago and helped put it over the top and cast aspersions then on the people who were against it, like Richard Friedman. The Herald now, after that awful Tropic magazine thing where they slapped you people in the face for the umpteenth time, where they gave you that $1 billion boondoggle thing. I think that was about a week after they gave you the story about the white elephant, the Miami Arena. Now they come back 20 years later. Oh, yeah. Tale of two futures, threatening that if you don't vote yes tomorrow, that it's going to be the end of the world. Future 1 or future 2. If you vote yes, raise the sales tax here to 7.5%. Immediately, the fares on Metro Rail and county buses are paired for all riders and ended for seniors. Then on December 1st, tolls end on the county's 4 expressways. And yada, 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 it goes on. And, of course, creating thousands of construction jobs in the next 20 years. We should live so long. Future 2, this is the greatest. Every time I think I've seen the best smelling pile of elephant turd that I've ever smelled in my life, this is the best. Future 2, voters say no. Transit plans are shelved because there's no local matching money, and millions in federal aid dollars go to cities willing to help themselves. Keeping in mind, of course, there's no guarantee we're going to get any of it even if they vote yes. Toll hikes on local expressways continue. Some roads are improved, but construction lags traffic growth. Congestion, already the nation's third worst, which is a lie, it's the 12th, rises to first. Meanwhile, now here comes this is the greatest paragraph in the history of this community ever been written in a newspaper of any kind. Meanwhile, the business climate deteriorates, the economy declines, the tax base withers, poverty worsens, and parts of this once vibrant community take on the look and feel of a third world backwater. Hate to break the news to you, boys. You better look out the window, okay? Like right outside your window at One Herald Plaza. Parts of this community, all of these horrible things are going to happen if they don't have more Metro Rail and more buses. The economy's going to decline. Poverty's going to get worse. And the community is going to look like a third world backwater. Guess what, boys? You're about 20 years too late. They play you guys like you're the dumbest bastards on the face of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Now, maybe they got a point with some of you, but what can I tell you? Unbelievable. Thank God they're not using any scare tactics over there at the Herald. Either go ahead and, go with the program with the establishment, or it's going to be hell in a handbasket without more of that Metro Rail, more of that great successful Metro Rail that nobody was riding. That they are the ones that exposed the billion-dollar boondoggle 15 years ago. What a bunch of lying bastards. The Herald, I'll tell you one thing, if you're looking for the Chupacabra and El Anticristo, just look at the Herald. They're both inside.
Hi, I'm here to talk about a problem that's been on the minds of women everywhere. Tired of that man smell? Your guy's been driving a truck all day, and he wants you to go, down there where he has that man smell. Well, Prince Massive Belly understands. So say goodbye to that man smell with new scented and flavored shrink-wrap condoms. These one-size-fits-all condoms slip on with ease, and using any household blow dryer seals in freshness. Put some excitement in your mouth, ladies, with such delightful flavors as Blue Ball Berry, Tutti Frutti, and Pina Colada. Prince Massive Belly Shrink-Wrap Condoms. Lick one today.
All right. 10:15 at 560 WQM. So we just find out, and of course we have to do all this finding out ourselves because the massive broadcast machinery of Beasley Reed are a little bit on the slow side. Come to find out that there's, and of course the local media still haven't discovered this complaint that was filed against us to the FCC. They still haven't even discovered it, much less put anything in the papers about it. Comes to find out that the people who filed the complaint were David Caton and his Florida Family Association. What a surprise, huh? No. Does David Caton live in any market, by the way, that receives the signal of this show?
No.
I just mentioned that in passing. And, of course, some of the, 18 members? Some of the 12 members of it, 8 members of his organization probably do live down here. But that should come as absolutely no surprise. David Caton, the man who's decided, because he's given up his lifelong addiction to pornography, and now he's a great crusader to clean up the airwaves and everything else. Another one of these right-wing fanatics who's decided that he and he alone and the members of his organization, all 3 of them, are going to decide what can be on the air and what can't, and threaten people's sponsors, et cetera, and so on. So I just mentioned that in passing. David Caton and the Florida, not anymore the American Family Association, because they got passed out of the national organization. Now it's only the little tiny with their 2 members, David Caton and the Florida Family Association. And you know what I say to them? That's what I have to say to them. And to the FCC. F both of you. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line, 1017. It's only a matter of minutes before people start running in here going pop, 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 pop with those numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty weak. I think it's going to be, the odds are, unless we have some kind of miraculous June, unless our listeners made some enormous comeback for us in the month of June, I think WQM is going to have a precipitous decline, which of course the timing couldn't possibly be worse at a time when our general mangler is running around hyperventilating about this new non-existent sports station at 2700 on the AM dial that only 6 people can pick up. But like I've told you before, when you really are too sure of exactly what you're doing, that's why do you know that he offered Geldy like $6 million a year to stay around? And God only knows, I think he offered Little Dog a blank check. Please stay around. Don't go over there to the other side. We know they want you badly. Here's $15 million a year, please. Well, it's easy to do that, just like he did with Wayne. Same thing. Oh, yeah, we'll give you $20 billion for the Marlin games. And now, of course, here we all are. That's why Joe Costello's got to pay to work here. He was making $3.75 an hour. Now he has to pay them just to come in for the honor of doing that Saturday morning racing thing. He has to do all this other stuff during the week because we have to give all the money to Wayne and John Henry. And now the FCC. Okay, great. That was a good start. That was, I think, maybe the fastest bleep in the history of this show. I'm trying to think back over the 70 or 80 years I've been on the air. And right off the bat, right out of his mouth came, excellent. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
Neil, I am pissed off and I am fired up.
Yeah.
Okay, check this out. I received the Herald. For way too long, I've been receiving the Herald now, from Thursday through Sunday. Okay?
What does that mean?
I get it.
In other words, you get it Thursdays through Sundays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Herald and other stuff too. Anyway, I've never received the Herald any other day of the week. On Monday there was a very pro the penny sales tax.
Pro penny.
And today also. Guess what?
Isn't that that stadium we got, Pro Penny Stadium?
Pro Penny Stadium.
Yeah.
Exactly. So guess what? I get the free Herald this morning and on Monday
Well, they
morning.
want to make sure you read the propaganda. That's why you get it for free. That's
you believe that?
Sure.
And I called you on Monday and told you.
They probably had a $30 bill in there, too, which I wouldn't try to cash it, but nevertheless.
I'm going to check again. But anyway, I called you Monday and I talked to you and told you about the 7 conceptual lines, the 7 proposed lines, 5 of which were conceptual.
In other words, in somebody's mind somewhere.
Exactly.
Right.
Guess what?
Of somebody's imagination, yes?
In today's Herald, they're talking about 8 lines.
Yeah.
So they keep adding lines.
I think somebody at the Herald's doing some lines. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to talk about that white powder right here on the air, but I think somebody over there ought to take a powder.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's truly outrageous.
Isn't this great the way that, and of course, if this was a valid issue, you put the information out there, you don't make promises to FIU and the museum and the opera and all these other people. If it would stand on its own merits and it was legitimate, they wouldn't have to do all these things. And even the Herald editorial, as glowing as it is, it talks about many voters are wary of entrusting the county government to spend the funds wisely and honestly, and their suspicions are heightened by the ill-advised campaign strategy of promising that the $103 million in county money now devoted to transit can be steered to various causes. It smacks of bait and switch, and it shouldn't have been done. There you go. So why the hell should we trust them? Because they want to make all these promises to all these other organizations and people so they can try to put this thing over on the public.
You're exactly correct. And today, they're talking about the pros and cons of a penny. That's the headline, right?
Yeah.
And they give one paragraph to Norman Brayman. Everything else is for.
Right, of course.
It's truly outrageous.
These are the same people that gave this town everything that's wrong with it today, including the first Metro Rail, including Mickey Arison, everything he wants. You know, when you stop and think, Hank made a good point yesterday. Here is a guy who not only doesn't bring any money into the community, he takes it out. All of these tourists that they pick up at the airport and they take them on his cruise ships, on his Carnival cruise ships, they whisk them right over there, they put them in the Port of Miami on the ships, and they make sure that they don't spend any money in the local hotels, in the local restaurants, in the local businesses. They never set foot, other than the airport, they never set one foot on dry land here in Dade County, and yet here's one of the biggest enemies of the economy of Dade County, and he's in bed with the Herald and the mayor together. It's a beautiful thing.
That's correct. And, by the way, it was not a fluke that I received the Herald on these 2 days, because my neighbor, he coincidentally received the Herald also on
Oh, my God, what a coincidence.
Yeah. So I'll challenge the readers or any viewers out there, if they got the Herald today and on Monday, call it in.
I wouldn't be surprised that we have people in the audience who don't even subscribe to the Herald who got it today.
That's possibly correct, yeah.
Okay, vote early and often tomorrow, pal.
In closing, Pinellas, flop on this.
Okay, thanks. Okay, here's Duff Lindsay breathlessly bringing in the first of the numbers, breathlessly with a look on his face of terror, a look of like that. I said, how'd they do? And he, By the way, do you tell him who filed the complaint? Did he hear me tell about that?
He heard it.
Oh, he heard it. Well, thank God that they can, look at that. 12 plus, the overall station went from a 3-1 to a 2-9. Look at that cum. Look at that cum, down 48,000 people. Length of listenership went up, which of course is bogus. That's those Wired Diaries in the last trend for the morning show. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but, we all get our Wired Diaries. You guys sure stepped into a bucket of stuff with that deal. Okay, men 25 to 54. Here we go. Where's that drum roll? Come on. Where the hell is that stupid thing? Number 1 overall, men 25 to 54, WBGG, big, 7.2 in the Springfield. That's all Howard, of course. Although their cum dropped. Where did everybody go? Everybody's cum dropped. There's nobody in town. Everybody's cum went in the toilet. I sure hope it was one of those gravity toilets that they're screaming about on CNN all morning. One good thing, we finally got away from John and the funeral. We finally got away from that. Now what are they giving us? Gravity toilets. Talk about going down the drain. Here he comes again with a real surly look on his face. This has got to be bad news. The man has got a psychotic look on his face. Person 12 plus. Oh, what's wrong with that? We did okay. We're number 3, damn it! How did we go down in the share and we actually went up in the standings? That's 10-3, of course. 10-2, we always do a little better with all, due respect to Hank. 12 plus in the morning. Okay, let's see how the morning guys did 6 to 10 a.m. Oh, no. Oh, no. Say it isn't so, Joe. Please say it isn't so. WIOD, the all-news station, the destroyed, butchered station, WID, 2.5 to a 2.8. Where the hell's QAM? Oh, they're flat, 2.6 to a 2.6. Flat. We went 4.8 to a 4.5, but we moved from number, I think it was 5 in the previous trend, to number 3. So we're over a 5 share, and so actually we got to be number 2 behind Life because between 10 and 2, EDR had a 4.7. We got the beat. We're number 2, damn it. 12 plus. That's good. How about our CUM? Did that go down a little bit? Length of listenership exactly the same. Okay. So there's something. That's the first trickle of information. Who was number 1 in the morning? 12 plus. Radio Amor. Oh, 6.6 to a 7.5. Heavy Julio Diaries again in the spring book. Heavy Julio Diaries. And Bill Drex got 2 pages in the Sun Sentinel this morning. And then there's also a big article about Hispanics are suing the TV networks because they're all pissed off, et cetera, and so on. Looks to me like we had a no speak de Inglés coup here in the spring book. Just coincidentally coinciding, I guess. Must be another one of those coincidences with all this stuff. And here he comes again. Oh, my God. He's racing in here. The man has got an exhausted look on his face. He's ready to pee his pants looking at these numbers, how weak they are. 12 plus. And you know something? These aren't even like in any, they're like all over the place. 12 plus, how did the humper do in the afternoon? Come on, let's see it. How'd Hank do in the afternoon? He's dying to know. He's on the edge of his bed right now. Don't fall off, Hank. 2.6 to a 2.7. Up just a tad. Of course, everybody wants to know 12 plus. How did the babbling one do in the afternoon? She's the one that's kicking ass, huh? 2.5 to a 1.4. All right, let's hear it for Babbling Brook. 12 plus, they go from a 2.5 in a fall book to a 1.4. And, of course, the fall book was Rick and Suds, the 1.4. She's completed her first book and dropped a full rating point. Nice going, Babbling Brook. You're the best, sweetheart. You're the best thing Hank's got going for him. Man, she might even wake him up. 26 after 10 at 560 WQAM. Nice going, Humper. He's up a 1/10 of a point. Hey, listen, in this book, anybody goes up a little bit. We're very proud of you.
We're number 1, damn it!
Tell me that you love my eyes, but I know that you keep on checking out my thighs. Don't blame you 'cause I'm very cute. Check out my breath, they're poking out my lips at you. You come on to me and whisper things in my ear, and it sounds soft, but if you wanna date me, move slow. There's things about me I don't think you know. I'm underage, 17. You should be scared of me, 'cause you could go to jail if you sleep with me. If I scream, you end up praising me.
She looks 25, but she's just a teen.
Perfect teen, I bet my lips are free. Daddy called the cops last night. My breasts are perfect to see, because I've had surgery. None of my skirts reach my knees. My butt just hangs right out of my shorts.
She's underage.
Yeah, okay.
You should be scared of her.
Scared of
And
me?
Rolling Stones bring nails and dynamite. Put aside, she's looking mighty fine. She looks 25, but she's just a teen.
So anyway, like I said, got a killer month there in the month of June. Thanks, everybody. We can go home now. How the hell did we do this, by the way? How did we pull this off? Boy, it looked like it was going to be a death knell, and just when we're starting to, lick our wounds a little bit, looks like we did okay. 25 to 54 persons in the morning. Howard's from an 8-3 to an 8-6. Nice going there, Big Nose. Yeah, he's that whole radio station. How do you like that? He's the whole radio station is 6 to 10 in the morning over there on Big. After that, they're kind of small, real small. How did our morning guys do, persons 25 to 54? I bet you all three of them are sitting there peeing in their pants right now waiting. 2-8 to a 3-1. Oh! Let's hear it. Of course, a lot of that is at those wire diaries, but you know something that helped. In the long run, it helped. Length of listenership from 4 hours to 4.5 hours a week. Nice going, boys. Cume went down, but they don't care about that. Nobody makes their bonus based on Cume. Thank God. Okay, that takes care of 25:54 in the morning. In the midday, we went from a, look at this, 5-4 to a 5-5 from 10 to 3, which means from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. when this show is on, we're doing over a 6-share persons 25 to 54. Wait till those men 25-54 come in, huh? Because, you know, we haven't got any women. We haven't got enough women to fill a teacup, I'll tell you that right now. Persons 18 to 34, all of a sudden we made a big comeback. What do we got here in midday? 18 to 34, we went from a 3-6 in the fall book to a 4.9 in the spring. That means we're over a 5-share again midday here, 18 to 34. Oh! This isn't even close to our demographic. Nice going, Neil. Thank you.
Neil, God!
Wow. It's a miracle. Just when they count you out, just when they think that you're finished and they're ready to stick the fork in you, all of a sudden you make the big comeback. Oh! Just because in April, Arbitron couldn't find anybody who spoke English or listened to this radio station. All the day parts. See, and it's really miraculous that after all these months, we only had the 1 month when they couldn't find anybody's audience on this station in April, because generally they screw up a hell of a lot more than that. WEDR way up there. I'm curious, how did our good friend do in the afternoon? 25 to 54. I know this is boring to some of you, but all the radio business people are listening. How did they do in midday, by the way, over there on INZ, on Super Talk Radio? How did they do there? Because they were all of a sudden getting a little carried away the last two trends, and that had to be lardass, which means all the right-wingers were getting the diaries. Oh, yeah, 1-7 to a 2-6. Still a really crappy number. 2-6. How did Rick and Pud do in the morning? I'm sure everybody wants to know about that. Anybody want to know about that?
No.
Yes, you do. 25:54 in the morning, Rick and Suds, WINZ. Do we find it here anywhere? I mean, we still got a few Rick and Suds people, don't we?
No.
Yes, we do. One or two. I'll guarantee you right now. Let's see. Oh, look at that.
We need a drum roll.
What is it? Drum roll for what?
That's what Duff said.
Oh, well, just a minute. I can handle it. Oh, there's Dr. Diarrhea Butt Plugs. Better not play that right now. Okay, where the hell is my goddamn... Oh, jeez, we got too much stuff in here, okay? Look at that, men 25-54. God almighty! Oh! Well, wait a minute. Where's the overall number for men 25-54? So we can find out if we made the other part of that bonus. I wouldn't be surprised if we did.
We got the first part, I take it.
WBGG. Oh, my God. How come he's got a sour look on his puss? He should be smiling from ear to ear. We got a kiss, baby. And I'm not talking about that crappy shot-kicking music you're playing on FM, that kiss. I'm talking about a big kiss right on the big fat.
Rectum.
Is what we got. Look at that. Mornings, QAM, a 5.2 to a 5.9. Oh! And then 25-54. Oh, he's upset because they got to pay out more bonuses now. That's what he's upset about. That's okay. And if you think they got long commercial breaks now, just wait, baby. Starting next Monday, 18-minute breaks, 3 times an hour on the morning show. Let's hear it.
Oh!
All right. Now, what do we do here in the midday? 9.0 in the fall book, 9.7 in the spring. That means 10 to 2. We did better than a 10 share here in midday. Let's hear it for...
Oh, God.
How the hell did we do this? Boy, we sure must have had a lot of good wired diaries there in June. Great. We love you. Their money's in the mail, okay? Getting only good news this morning, huh? We got a guy who doesn't even live in this market, files a complaint against us with the FCC, doesn't even receive the signal of this radio station. He's the guy that files the complaint. That's some of the greatest news I ever heard in my life. And it's a damn good thing that those people got the message and stopped taping just in time, because otherwise they'd all be behind bars today for stealing our copyright, if you catch my drift. So anyway, this is astonishing news. We'll be getting Hank's number here in a second. Now, if Hank had a big enough number, you do... Oh, not good? Oh, you already saw it? Greg, now, what is that? Hank, I don't want you to feel bad, but Greg is smiling. He's got a big smile on his face and give me a big thumbs down like that. But I thought Hank was the employee of the month in May. He should have had a gigantic book there. Oh, he said he wants the $200 back or whatever the hell it was. Greg says he wants the money back. Okay, I got it right now. Now, it can't be that bad. Can it?
Uh-huh.
No, it can't be that bad. Well, what are you talking about? You're wrong. Oh, I see it, and it wasn't number one, but the share went up. He went from a 5.1 to a 5. What was that? He gave me a thumbs down. The man went up. Wishful thinking on your part, mister. He went from a 5.1 to a 5.4. Nice going, Pasco. By the way, Hank has lost 75 pounds just this week.
Funny.
He's doing it. Man, we just are kicking ass, and this is during the deadest time of the year. So all you people down there on 1970 on the radio dial that think you're going to kick our ass with your stupid make-believe sports station, we got a real surprise for you, okay? Because this is during the deadest time of the year. Yeah, he went from a 5.1 to a 5.4. Oh, this Greg, I'm telling you, if he ever finds that one spot on his head, man, I'm telling you, he's going to be dangerous. How about at night? Well, we don't look at night. We never give those nighttime numbers because, quite frankly, they're embarrassing. But we don't want to talk about that. So we did okay. Now, how come we don't have the overall men 25 to 54 yet? From 6 a.m. to midnight. That's the one that we're all salivating for. Number 2. Well, here it's a little extra cash there for some of us, huh? It would have been nice to be number 1, but somebody here let us down there in this last book. I don't want to say who it was. No, he did good. He did okay.
That was funny.
And baseball was up too. Let's hear it. Okay, now we're prepared to pay that money to John Henry, right?
No.
No, not up that much. Anybody want to buy any spots on those Marlin games?
No.
Okay. So I apologize to the non-radio people out there, but this is an important part. This is what we live for. People made their bonuses. People got a little extra bonus in there because the station was number 2 in men overall, 25-54. What? What are you shaking your head for? You know what?
I don't. It has to be number 1.
What, listen, are you going to live long enough to ever collect the money they owe you
No.
for the other ones anyway? So why do we have to go through that again anyway? I already saw what? Men 25-54 overall. Big is number 1 with a 7.2. Oh, I did already see this. And QM went from a 5.9 to a 6.4.
Oh!
Eat your hearts out, okay? All you little Julios down there at 2700 on the radio dial with that make-believe station that Greg's still peeing in his pants about. What are you worried about? Who the hell are they going to put on the air over there? Somebody good?
Uh-huh.
Like I said. 20 before 11 at 560 WQAM. God, it's a major miracle. I really expected to take a big hit today on this crap. So not only did we get a great book today, a surprising, a shocking after, and this includes, keep in mind, this includes the month of April when they couldn't find anybody who spoke English who listened to this radio station, and it's still in there because this is April, May, and June. So if you take that month out, just wait until the next trend, baby. We're going to be so far up on top, nobody will need the Mount Palomar telescope to see us. You'll have to call the Space Transit Planetarium and Miss Horkheimer over there to borrow a telescope to be able to find us. That's how out of sight we're going to be. And then, of course, tomorrow we're going to have a big celebration because tomorrow night, in fact, Friday will be the day. We'll have a big party because the election tomorrow, that farce they're trying to put over on the public in Dade County, that's going to take it big time and that'll be the end of that. So I think it's going to be a momentous week in our lives here, you know it? In the middle of these otherwise very dull and deadly days.
Anybody have a heart or a liver?
No. Do you or your family suffer from things? The makers of Zyfan want you to know about a miracle drug that helps you deal with the symptoms of various things. Zyfan, winner of the Department of Health's prestigious Longest List of Side Effects Award for 2 years running. Zyfan. Talk to your doctor today. Some swelling of the brain, impotence, enlargement of various glands and ducts, hemorrhoids, Y2K hysteria, temptations, and plagues of locusts have been associated with the use of Zyfan. Other possible side effects include blindness, dizziness, loss of weight, loss of color, loss of keys, straightening of the hair, aversion to swing music, zombieism, night sweats, talking like Roger Ebert, itchy organs, exploding head, and the gout. Some patients have reported blurred vision, drooling, talking Australian, saying the phrase good to go, knocked knees, broken bones, lumpy eyebrow makeup, high cholesterol, low esteem, wet hacking coughs, dry heaves, soft doing midsections, clock watching, and raccoonism. A more significant number of Zyfan users have reported occasional bouts of chest pain, random loss of limbs, trouser tenting, greasy forehead, twisting of the tooth, spinal straightening, toeing the line, headaches, muscle aches, claude achenism, gas guzzling, incessant staring, and barking. Get your complete list of side effects at our website at www.zyfansideeffectsareyoukittingme?.org. Zyfan. Keep away from cats, dogs, snakes, children, the young at heart, and goats. Zyfan. Medicine for today's things.
Okay, I'm not going to mention that Hank fell from 3rd to 6th in men 25-54 because evidently he gets paid on rank also, and he's going to become a little rank if he what? But his share went up, but his rank went down. You know, it's all this other ethnic stuff in there. What can you do about that? Coast went up. That's a real laugh. And the Hot 105 in the crapper. So they're probably like having mixed emotions over there. In other words, the white people are celebrating over at Cox, and the dark-complected folks are going like, oh, man, like that, like OJ. This is a major miracle. I don't want to gloat on this too much. In fact, let's take a look at some of the other numbers that people are very concerned about, like Rick and Suds in the morning. Look at a great job. What did I tell you about Geldy, huh? Leave it to my good buddy Geldy to put them over the top. If they'd have had any brains, the Panther organization would have made him the voice of the Panthers. I'm telling you, he'd have made that thing exciting. He'd have gotten a lot of people turned out of that instead of this silly old man they're bringing in. I'm not going to say that Beefo and Joe didn't have anything to do with the morning going up there or the Wire Diaries in the last trend that, but nevertheless, 5'2" to a 5'9" in men, 25.54, number 2 in the market. Pretty impressive to me if you ask me. Of course, Howard had a 12-1. 12-1. But you know something? We did damn near the same when you come right down to it. Huh? We did over a 10 on an AM radio station. On an AM radio station. Over a 10 share, and that's with one crappy bogus month thrown in there, too. If you took out the month of April, I got news for you. Howard, everybody else, look out. We'd have numbers. We'd have triple digits. We'd have 117% we'd have such shares because if you took out that April month, they had to stick that in there so we didn't get too carried away. They don't want everybody walking around like Joe with a swelled head. We won't be able to walk in the hallways here if anybody's head gets that big. The little dog. But this is truly an amazing accomplishment here, especially, and you know what probably put us over the top is all that promotion. That's what. Thank you, Sam. Let's hear it for Sam the Sham, a man in search of a life, a search of a real identity as a freestanding individual, as opposed to being just another appendage to all kinds of semi-famous people like Jordan Knight and Enrique. Anybody else? Always seen in the background. Let's bring Sam from the background to the foreground. That tremendous promotion that we have here at 2 a.m. That's what put us over the top of these big numbers. Am I right? Huh?
No.
Can you imagine if we did have promotion? If we had like billboards and TV, if we had an aggressive operation here and these people weren't such a bunch of tight-fisted douchebags? And by the way, for the Beasleys over there in Naples, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's all we want to say. We realize we couldn't have done it without your tremendous support. You're welcome. Oh, here's our close personal friend, Richard Friedman. How you doing, Richard?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Probably fell asleep.
Did you fall asleep during all of that? Come on, Richard. I'm talking about our...
How are you? I just called to congratulate you and thank you so much for you doing such a great public service on behalf of the people of Dade County.
That's right, and I don't even live in Dade County anymore. I got out while the getting was good, but I think it's just a sham and a shame to see. I mean, I was here when we went through the whole thing 20 years ago.
I remember.
And all the Herald did was attack you, and this is a bad guy, and stop transit over people. They're a bunch of communistas, et cetera, and so on. And then, just a couple of years later, they're admitting, they're bragging about the fact this is a billion-dollar boondoggle. Nobody's riding the thing. And now 20 years later, they figure everybody's got a bad memory and they're going to try to do it all over again.
It's shameful, is what it is.
It's
and the Herald I'll tell you this, Tom Fiedler was in Tallahassee for 20 years, now runs the editorial page. He's a guy without class, and he has no intellect for supporting this horrendous tax.
No, he's a silly guy in a yellow trench coat that chases Gary Hart around. That's what Tom Fiedler is. Yeah, he's a voyeur.
I do know that you see what they don't tell the public. There's $11.4 billion transportation plan without the sales tax, and they're going to expand and build more roads with or without the sales tax.
Right.
And the only purpose for this is just to have more Metrofail. And it's so stupid because even the Herald on Monday, when they describe the whole plan, they point out that one of the trains is going to be $3 billion to go from the airport to Seaport. That's for tourists who are not going to take a cab. They're going to not take a cab. And so the husband and wife with 4 or 5, 6 pieces of luggage are going to go into a train to go to the port instead of having the free bus service now provided by the cruise lines to take them to the cruise ship.
So in other words, they're going to slip us to Mickey again. They're going to spend public money to help out Mickey again, who doesn't contribute one dime of money to the economy of this county. Instead, siphons it all out.
Yeah, and they promise FIU students, geez, you're going to have a train. Well, that train couldn't be built for 20 years. It means whoever's going to FIU now, their children, when they grow up, 20 years from now, may be able to take a train. I mean, that's what the Miami Herald even revealed, despite their best efforts to cover it up. Yesterday in Monday's paper, and the train line to Northwest Dade, that's another joke. You're going to go up. You're going to have 4,500 people spend $1 billion, so 4,500 people are going to take a train to nowhere. What do you do once you get to the Broward County line and the train stops? Where are you going from there? Where is the service to take you to someplace in Broward County?
That's my point. This is not a mass transit kind of town. This isn't a walking town. It's not like going to downtown Chicago to the Loop. It's not like going to Manhattan and being, within a 10, 20 block radius of going all the places you want to go. It's not like all the other cities that have mass transit because, number one, this is not a city, either county, that's got a real downtown where people go and walk and wander around and shop unless they happen to work there. And, of course, the thing already goes there anyway. There's no part. And then they're talking about having a leg to go to Pro Player Stadium at a time when John Henry is saying he doesn't want to play there and he wants us to public money to build him a new stadium.
Yes,
what's going to be going on there? 8 Dolphin regular season games a year, and they're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to put a leg out there in the middle of nowhere?
The whole plan is preposterous, and it's just another boondoggle. What is it? It's a special interest deal, so a few people will get very rich by picking the pockets of the people who pay the tax, which is the hard-working person whose hard-earned money is being stuffed into is taken out of their pockets every time they buy something. People have to realize the rent's going to go up, the utilities, the electric, the telephone,
right.
and the clothing, and
anybody,
food, and
any
everything.
person who's in business in Dade County, they ought to be screaming bloody murder about this because any big ticket item, people will be gladly driving to a Broward County to buy that big ticket item.
Right. You can't avoid it on the car because it's where it's registered on a car.
Right.
But still, you buy it in Dade County, it's an extra $50 compared to Broward. Actually, it's $75 because Broward would stay at $6. We're at $7.50, so we're paying $75 more on a car, and we're paying a 1.5% more on everything we buy than people in Broward buy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's equity there.
And then, of course, this thing in the editorial this morning, like I said, the gloom and doom of all the horrendous things that are going to happen to Dade County, some of which have already happened, if they vote no. The economy declines. How's the economy going to decline if we don't have more Metro Rail? The tax base withers, poverty worsens, and parts of this once vibrant community take on a look and feel of a third world backwater. What la-la land are these people living in?
Well, it's just scare tactics and silly rhetoric because if you think about it, if 1% is going to do all this for the county, it's going to be so wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's tax ourselves 2, 3, 4%.
Right.
And we'll be 2, 3, 4% better.
It'll make it paradise, right? It'll be paradise. Everybody living in the $500,000 house.
That's an absurd argument.
Yeah.
And the Herald, it's a funny thing is that the editor of the Herald, who's their best friend, as I said yesterday when I was down at the Metro Commission, has called the Metro government corrupt and inefficient.
Mm-hmm.
And then his July 3 editorial, he waxed eloquently when he reminded people about a corrupt Metro government involving airport overruns,
right,
bid brouhahas, bus breakdowns, contract cronyism, disappearing trees, expressway snafus, gantry crane deals, hot suits, incorporation roadblocks, lobbyist clout, Metro mover glitches, nepotism, parks in limbo, public housing blight, seaport corruption, sewer leaks, shrinking palms, taxi oligopolies, the sky feuding, and zoning for dollars. And then in today's paper, in the editorial in favor, he writes about that the $103 million Fund B, it smacks of bait and switch and shouldn't have been done.
Right.
Well, it has been done, Mr. Fiedler, and therefore, why are you supporting a corrupt and inefficient government that resorts to bait and switch tactics in order to convince people to give their hard-earned money to a corrupt and inefficient government?
How would we like to have that $1 billion that they wasted on the first 11 miles but 20 years ago? How would we like to have that for road improvements right now?
Well, how about the fact, Neil, that the operating deficit of the Metro Rail for the first 15 years has cost the property taxes out of our pockets $500 million. Can you imagine if we took $500 million and try to improve the community, how good that would be for Dade County?
Plus $1 billion that it cost to build it. That's $1.5 billion right there. Right?
More like $1.4 billion if you add interest.
So now we're up to $2 billion, right?
On indebtedness, because the people forget that we're still paying every month on property taxes for the Decade of Progress bond, plus a revenue bond that was passed for cost overruns. So we're paying through the nose still for Metro Rail,
right,
just for the construction cost, and the operating deficit only grows each year. And they've topped out at 24,000 people a day and 18,000 or less on weekends. It costs $1,400 a year for us to subsidize somebody taking a Metro rail, and the Metro Mover downtown, it costs us $2,000 a year for each passenger on the Metro Mover.
Beauty. Okay, listen, I got to run. Thanks a million, Richard. Congratulations
Thank you, Neil.
on a great job as usual, you and Norman Bremen. And we'll get out, even though I don't live in Dade, I'm going to get out and vote 20 or 30 times myself.
Thanks a lot, and I just want to remind everybody, please, tomorrow, come out and vote no.
They'll do it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, Richard Friedman, thank God for him and a few other people, just a small handful of people. Otherwise, they just run over you like, without any opposition.
Radio guys with me.
In theaters now.
It's the totally new Star Wars. Yoda gets hot on R2-D2.
Wow, R2-D2, you make me feel good. Wow, R2-D2, I was just wondering, you are a female, right? You're a dude? So am I.
Yoda breaks up with R2-D2. Showing now.
No robots were injured during the filming of this movie.
Get off of my face!
Showing now in a theater near you.
All right, let's get to it. 1102 at 560 WQM. We're number one, damn it. Kicking some serious ass. All of a sudden, everything is falling right into place. You can almost smell it, can't you? The aroma is just as sweet as can be. God, like getting stuck in an elevator with a mermaid. It's just a lovely thing. Huh? Well, for you, anyway. Wow. And, of course, now the good news comes that Florida's really moving up the ladder. They had this survey yesterday. This is one of the most important things, especially when you go to the polls tomorrow and think about what a great job they're doing of educating your children, and all the other things that really have to do with quality of life, and not just whether we have a stupid metro rail trains to nowhere. Maine rises to the top among the best states to raise children. They're number one, damn it. Florida, on the other hand, was number 47 last time they did this, and now it's number 36. So we're really moving up the ladder. 35 states in a country are ahead of us in terms of quality of life to raise your children. Of course, part of the problem being all the murder and mayhem going on here. 5670. Massachusetts is number 2. Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, North Dakota. Pretty embarrassing when it's better to raise your kids in North Dakota because there aren't as many people killing anybody up there, I guess. I'm really glad Richard Friedman called in because, he tried the first time to tell you, hey, vote no on this thing. And I think he won the election. I think the no's won it that first time. And, of course, it turned out to be another rigged election late at night. I remember it like it was just yesterday. That's why every registered voter in the sound of my voice in Dade County tomorrow, I know it sounds corny, you got to shock the hell out of them. They were anticipating, this is what they were praying for, is that just their special interest puppets would come out and vote tomorrow and put this thing over the top. Well, in the meantime, they're spending all the rest of your sales tax money. Just say no. More corruption and bullcrap. And don't believe this little twerp who stands up there with all these flunkies standing behind him. Well, this isn't going to be another one of those broken promise deals. Here, how can this man have any credibility? The most prominent two things that he's done since he's been elected was, number one, his last thing a time around with the Cuban refugees, that disgraceful display of going on to Cuban Spanish language radio stations and being a professional Cuban instead of being the mayor of all the people in this county and representing the interest of all the people who live in Dade County. Being a professional Cuban, which is not what the people want, most of them. And number two, of course, the worst one, the very first day he gets in, turns into liar, liar, my pants are on fire because I never met a billionaire that I didn't like if his name was Mickey Arison. Makes him this sweetheart deal, which you, by the way, who live in Dade County, are going to be paying the taxpayers to subsidize that place for the rest of time. As long as that elephant is standing down there 4 blocks away from the old joint. Which they, by the way, still couldn't fill up. Best team in the East in the NBA, and no matter how many games they won, time and time again, they couldn't fill up that joint. And even when they did sell it out, there were just tons of empty seats because who the hell wants to go down in that area anyway? We're talking 4 blocks away. Don't get sucked in again, okay? Show you got a little bit of balls in this town. What a breath of fresh air it would be to finally have the public strike back and say, you're not going to stick it in there again. That's right. Get sore about it for a change. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. I think we pretty much stole all my thunder here, but
that's all right.
Let me add, regarding this arena, for these people that just don't understand and are kind of riding the line of the yes and no, if he is so worried about the money and taxes, he he did such a bad deal on that arena that we're going to be paying, like you said, for that arena
forever, as long as it's there.
Absolutely, and it's coming out of everybody's pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this Pan American Games. What about the money we could have earned from there on taxes?
And how about the future Pan American Games and all the other international, all the Olympics and all the other similar kinds of events that are they've already told us don't even apply again because they'll never come to Dade County because you're a bunch of professional ethnics and we're not going to cater to you.
And that means one thing there, and that was cash.
Right.
And they chased everything away.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this transit, this is the only option that we have. This is it. I mean, it's
like Richard Friedman just said, they've got all these other billions of dollars already, 11-point-some billion dollars. They're already going to be spent to expand and widen and do the roads. So whether this passes or not, that's not even related to it.
Correct. My 6-year-old girl on the news saw them, what they were doing, and I was just yelling and screaming how this is ridiculous.
I'll make sure she votes.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And she said, why can't they just do something that doesn't cost as much money? Why don't they just make more buses?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just so simple. And these people are politicians. And also all the promises that Pinellas made, you said about the arena before he got elected, I voted for him, and I'm ashamed I did.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you when it comes back around, I will not vote for you, Mr. Pinellas. And the other thing regarding schools, when he went out and started crying about all these people landing on shore, I've yet to see him cry about the sadness in the state, of these schools the way they are now, yet to do that. I'll tell you, I'm voting no for this. And just one more thing is, people that don't understand this, and like I said earlier, riding the line of yes and no, are just undecided and pretty much live their lives to the Hollywood movies. There's a movie that I'm pretty sure everybody has seen is Lethal Weapon 4. There's a part in there of Joe Pesci and Chris Rock where Joe Pesci says how the cell phone companies are effing you and effing you and effing you, and then they F you again. This is what they're doing to you people. And I guarantee you, Neil, if this thing passes, you're going to have more calls in the future about, oh, they did this to us. Now that we're paying more taxes, we're going to be paying for it. That's written in stone. And, you people, you can look at it now and you don't have to go back in 2020 hindsight. Vote no, because it's not going to help anybody unless they're going to gain by making cash by this.
Amen.
And that's pretty much all I got to say.
Okay, early and often, pal.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Thanks.
Okay, don't forget 1 or 2 major purchases you make per year in Dade County, and it'll be as much or more than you would spend on those increased tolls there on those 4 roads, even if you drive it every day of your life, like I pointed out yesterday. Even if you drive it both ways every day, Monday through Friday, for work or whatever you have to do, you're still going to wind up spending more money on a penny sales tax increase overall. I mean, just the 1 or 2 major purchases, much less all the other stuff that you buy in Dade County every year. There's no contest. And on top of that, keeping in mind the fact that these 4 tolls will go away for a little while, but regardless of how it happens, there's still these several other toll booths that are going to be built all over Dade County anyway, regardless. No big song and dance to pay a toll. Yeah, they're a nuisance. They're a pain in the ass. The turnpike toll, is that going away?
No.
The sawgrass, is that toll going away?
No.
So don't get sucked into this business of, it's going to, and the idea, the fact that you people in the media in this town sat back and I was the only one who was screaming here about the overt way that this group of assholes were getting together to inconvenience you people by springing that 25% increase there almost overnight and causing all these frustrations and traffic backups. And then the mayor comes on news the next morning, on that Monday morning a couple of weeks ago. Oh, well, I hope the people are frustrated enough now to realize that we need to vote yes. Right. You hope because you're the one that's doing it. Yeah, we got some real watchdogs. We got that guy with the ham hocks there on Channel 4, that Al Sunshine, waving his fat arms there. That's the guy you ought to be screaming at, Mr. Hotshot, Mr. Watching out for the public. That's what we ought to have, is somebody who really is out there looking for the public in this town, and not just somebody who's standing there waving his fat arms back and forth. A disgrace. Media in this town, you can't complain about the journalism in this town because there isn't any. The only piece of journalism we had in this town recently was Carl Hyacint's column Sunday, which he didn't mention the word manatee in there once. Nice going, Carl. I'm going to read it again tomorrow, by the way. This is in the Herald, no less. The award-winning Carl Hyacint, who says the estimated cost of this elevated train, if it ever did get built, which there's no guarantee, $100 million a mile. Not a typo, he says, $100 million per mile. And nobody's riding the one that we got right now. We're losing our ass as Richard Friedman said on that one. Let's have a whole bunch more legs of that thing so we can lose a lot more money and you people will have to come up with a way to pay for it out of your pocket. To build expensive trains to nowhere that nobody's going to ride. It's 10 past 11 at 560. You're highly rated WQAM.
Burn the bloody bitches.
If you had my bus, would you be a great big song? Is it OT?
No.
If your butt could compare with my area, would you make money with your big honey? If it was for my butt, would my career be done? And would this song become number one? Take a look at my rump, tell me if it went so nice. Would I be the star of the movie Out of Sight? Then look at me, and all they see, lying after me. They want to grab it all day. If you had my bus, would you have a limousine with a big backseat for your honey? And would you have more cash with a big old shapely iced up into your jeans? I love my big cheese.
That's our first question. How many guys out there would you rather ride Jennifer Lopez or the Metro Rail? It's 11:17 at 560 WQAM. So anyway, wait till you hear these numbers, baby. I love when these numbers come in because even if you're not in a business, it's not so important that you succeed, but that assholes fail. Well, let me give you the good news, okay, for the Rick and Suds fans. Just what I predicted. In the fall, back when they had your close personal friend, that pud-whacking John Ford on the air, in the morning in Men 2554, INZ with their 50,000 watts, where Steve Kane used to do a 0.5 and a 0.6 in the morning, invisible numbers, and John Ford last fall did a 0.9. How do you like that? A 0.9. They could put Grandma Moses farting on the air in stereo and do better than a 0.9 on a 50,000 watt signal. Rick and Suds go from a 0.9 to a 3.5. And those are the guys, by the way, that people wanted to blow out of there. The only guys they got on the whole station that have got a following. The only local talent they got on that radio station in any way, shape, or form. And the genius, the maven, the backstabbing jackass, the anticristo of the damn radio industry, Pete Bolger, wanted to blow them out. They go from a 0.9 to a 3.5 in this spring, from one book to the next. And the best news of all is, just as I predicted, since I've been around the block a couple of times in this business, conversely in the afternoon, while they goosed up their morning ratings nicely, Men 25 to 54, wait till you hear this. Rick and Suds in the fall book had a 5.1. What does what's-her-name have now that got rehired over across the street here at the Tire Kingdom place? Huh? From a 5.1 to a 1.7. Woo! Which means she lost 2/3. Do your arithmetic. It's not a tough number. She lost 2/3 of the audience in one book. Let's hear it for the Babbling Brook, who had a crappy book. The Babbling Book of Brooke.
I'm sure she has women listening, though, right?
Yeah, she's got women listening. 3 of them in a broom closet somewhere. 3 old truck drivers. I guess when the WNBA comes into town, then she'll go over the top. Yeah. Bitchy broad, that sound. You know, nobody wants to hear that sound. I hate to break the news to you, Peter. She's a broad. Yeah, that's the problem. Nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear Randy. They'll listen to the real Randy, not some Randy Jr. make-believe. It's not some Randy wannabe with no material. I can't dig in. It's not a personal thing either, okay, even though she did get on my nerves and kept calling me at home like I was a long-lost friend, and I barely even know her. I don't want to hear about her waxing her hair off again, you know? Her waxy buildup. Just amazing to me. Just like there's 2 pages about Bill Dreck in the Sun Sentinel this morning. Man, is his show on the air on that whammy anymore? No, just like mine isn't. Because, in fact, by the way, I didn't mention this when Marvin was here the other day. The news show, you know, that they're so proud of on there, and the sports show, which was like the centerpiece, that sports show, whatever they call it, they're both going off. All the local programs going off on that thing.
Whammy! God, it sucks.
Yeah. Thank God. That's why we went back up over the top, because finally when I got off of that thing, people said, Jesus, he should have been really embarrassed to be on that thing. So you notice how well we did in the fall and the winter? And now even in the spring, after we got off of that damn thing? Right through the roof.
Oh!
With all due apologies to our close personal friend Rob, whatever his name was. Kaplan. I know what his name is. And his brother's a little shorter, by the way. I think about a half an inch. Oh, gee, he said that there's another $2,500. I'm talking about his height, okay, you perverts up there. And by the way, instead of worrying about us saying crap on the air, where's that thing I had here? I got so much. Look at this. Guess what's last? Not number 50, but number 51, because it isn't a state. As far as education, the best states for children to grow up in, District of Columbia was in 51st place.
Oh!
So instead of worrying so much about whether somebody said crap on the air, you ought to clean up your own crap up there. Because every time it comes to crime statistics, filth and crime and mung and grotesque, a horrible place. Which is the seat of your federal government. What does that tell you? The
rectum
of the federal government. The anus of the universe. Making us even look good. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. We're going to have a party, damn it. Of course, I have to go to Mommy's for lunch today. But tomorrow we're going to have the ultimate party. We're going to have food brought in here from places that haven't even opened yet. That's right. We're going to have a gigantic mammoth party here tomorrow to celebrate the fact that somehow, in spite of all the adversity, all the naysayers, in spite of a general manager whose finger stuck in that hole in his head, in spite of all the stuff that we got going around here, that guy with the big head and the guy with the big pupik on the morning show, in spite of the fact that we had to send 3 people in there to wake Hank up on his show at what? 2 or 3 times during that book. He probably would have been a little higher on the ladder. And he admitted that to me yesterday. He said he lost so much. He was so fat at one point there a few months ago that he was falling asleep on the air, as you well know, he said. And I said, That's right. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I just got 2 things to say.
Go right ahead.
A friend of mine told me, listen to the Neil Rogers show. Listen to Neil. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Finally, I started.
Why not? Are you some kind of a narrow-minded?
No. I was listening to music instead. And
that's a waste of time, especially the music in this time.
But now that I listen to you, can I say addicted?
All right. That's another $500 right there.
I know it's $500, but another thing I want to say.
But it's well worth it.
Neil, we're going to put 500 more buses on a congested road already.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people that are going to be riding the buses are the people that are senior citizens that are riding it for free.
Oy! Yeah. So we can have another add to the gridlock, number 1, and number 2, we can add to the deficit. That's good thinking. I never even thought about that.
But and can I say one more thing? I want to call somebody a douchebag.
Yes, sir?
Roger, you mailman, you are a douchebag.
Okay, God bless you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Have a great life, and vote several times tomorrow, by the way.
No.
Yeah, there's a guy in Kendall. He's in Dade County. Got a couple of faxes here. It says, remember back in 1980 when Metro Fail was being built, engineers said that the concrete beam... Oh, that's right! That's right! I forgot about that! God bless you, Peter in Miami. I forgot. Even Richard Friedman forgot to mention this, but I'm sure he remembers it now. Back in 1980 when Metro Fail was being built, engineers said that the concrete beams that the tracks are on had a 30-year lifespan, so in 10 years every one of these will have to be changed. In fact, I remember a certain part of the line where they had to replace them because the pillars were crumbling. Do you remember that? It says, boy, I'm glad I won't be living here then. I'll be out of here next year. See you in Vegas, Peter. Thank you, Peter. God bless you for reminding me about more ineptitude there. Yeah, we had crumbling pillars, okay? Even Lot never saw crumbling pillars like that. Well, here's a fax that somebody by the name of Joe sent to Mr. Arison. It said, oh, I can't, this is beautiful. Mr. Arison and also the Miami Herald. It says, you dishonest crook, shove your damn newspaper up your
rectum
ass. This is your notice to cancel my subscription effective immediately. Nice move on the extra deliveries this week to my house and biased coverage of the penny sales tax. Go yourself. It's scum like you who are driving people out of Dade County. I wouldn't let my dog
squirt
on your newspaper. He's holding it in your face. Nice going there, Joe. He's pissed off. See, you've motivated a lot of people who otherwise would have just sat around like they usually do in the heat in this town. We don't care. Election. We're not going to bother voting. Nobody ever votes here. But I think you're going to be in for a real unpleasant surprise tomorrow, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Pinga. I think you're going to be in for a real big fat surprise, you and Mr. Steerheim and Mr. Arison and all your other asshole buddies. Every time I see him on TV, I just look at that little twerpy face and that little ineffectual voice, and I think to myself, Maricón! Even if not literally, just figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Here's Miami. Hello. Miami. Okay. Now, the reason I left that on there, 34 minutes and 52 seconds that the mayor had a spare time to wait on hold to do that. Is that embarrassing or what, huh?
Uh-huh.
That was him right there. You could tell by the sound of that gurgle. 34 minutes and 52 seconds of spare time on taxpayer money that the mayor has to wait on hold before he can come on here and go, oh, like that. That was it right there. That was the definitive call that we've ever had on this radio show.
Johnny Dykes, that asshole.
Yes. Tonight on Masterpiece Theater, the Tourette Syndrome Players present Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. What light through yon window break? It is the east, and Juliet is the slut you pay. You pay. The Tourette Syndrome Players presentation of Romeo and Juliet on tonight. Masterpiece Theater.
11:30 at 560 WQM. And by the way, after you say
Johnny Dykes, that asshole.
you're supposed to say doo-dah, doo-dah. But anyway, 567-0560, pound 560 on a prestigious AT&T wireless line. Hank Goldberg show at Chula's today. Hank's going to be celebrating the fact that he went up, but his bonus went down. I don't understand that. And you know where the phony, there always are phony numbers in every rating book. Stations that somehow, I mean, one rating book, like I've told you before, doesn't make a career. Anybody can get a lucky kiss, get a bunch of Wired diaries, a bunch of their groupies happen to get the diaries, but it's over a period of time. I don't want to mention any names.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That you develop, you prove something. But why 100? You know what I'm talking about? That.
Why?
100 goes through the roof. Can anybody explain that to us? Why,
No.
all of a sudden, their cume almost doubles? Does anybody believe that?
No.
No, unless they were buying the audience. Maybe we can get a spy report. Maybe they're giving away like $50,000 to everybody who would listen to that crap because their length of listenership was an embarrassment. Like in the afternoon. See, Hank got screwed out by that. Why 100? Number one, men 25 to 54. That's not even their demographic.
That was fun.
Well, what the hell is that? Their demographic is teens and maybe 18 to 34, not 25 to 54. Do we know any men 25 to 54 who listen to Y100?
No.
Or would even admit it?
No.
You better believe they don't. Jesus Christ. That athlete's footy, he's enough to drive me into a coma. 3.8 to a 5.9, and their cume, that's the total number of people listening during the week, went from 50,700 to 84,000, and their length of listenership went down from 2 hours and 45 minutes a week, which is all anybody could take, to 2.5 hours, which is a really weak length of listenership. That's over the entire week. WEAK. Does anybody believe that?
No.
So nice going. You did it once. You pulled it off this one time over there, footy, and all you losers over there with your bubblegum music. 5.9, sure, 25 to 54. And don't you dare say what you're about to say, because I know what a devious little spick you are.
What am I going to say?
About the fact they play the Backstreet Boys. They also play Britney Spears.
No, somebody called and made a good point. They were playing Ricky Martin every 5 minutes during this whole big hoopla.
You mean to say that there are people, men 25 to 54, are listening to Ricky Martin? All I can say is just like when I look at the mayor, maricones! Time for some maricones and cheese, okay? That's what the Pope says. Yeah, that's all you could, it used to be, that's all you could eat on Friday was maricones and cheese, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, Ricky Martin, he's big on the cheese, you know what I'm talking about? That's our poll question, by the way. Is Ricky Martin circumcised, uncircumcised, or does he even really have one?
No.
I doubt it. I think he's got a 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Y100 my ass, okay? My ass. Ricky Martin puts him over the top, huh? With men. Now one thing I'll prove to you, I will guarantee you, there are more heterosexual men who will admit listening to the Backstreet Boys than admit listening to Ricky Martin. That's not even a contest.
No contest.
You would agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm one of them.
Thank you. Because at least some of them might be straight, and at least they can sing.
A couple.
Here's Kendall. Hello.
Good afternoon, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just picked up a part of what Richard Freeman was talking about. You got your toilet flushing music ready?
My toilet flush?
Yeah.
Do we even have it? I don't think we even have a toilet flush.
Well, anyway.
We'll have it there.
There you go. Perfect. How would you like...
Okay.
All right. How would you like to buy...
Gravity toilets.
The Dade County Aviation Department, sitting in their warehouse, has 125 toilets they bought, toilet seats, in 1995 at $8,000 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that fiasco
Sure.
in 1995?
Sure.
Only $50.
Last night at 9:49 during the commission meeting, I was watching on TV, Mr. DeLappa, the aviation director, had the chutzpah to get up to the county commission, and Glenn Margolis caught this, to extend the contract for the service contract, extend the contract period for the service of these toilet seats. You know how much?
Does he have a lot of chutzpah?
Chutzpah is right. You ready for the price of this? To maintain what the county's been paying for the past 4 years to maintain 500 toilet seats at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
$2,500 per seat per year. I'm counting the rest. And Gary DeLappa had the nerve to tell her that was a bargain.
Yeah.
And we're paying. And I just figured out here in my office that you could have gone to Home Depot, and every time someone used a toilet seat, could have replaced each toilet seat every time. Would be cheaper than what they're paying $2,500.
What are they doing? Bringing in a bunch of illegal aliens to lick them clean or something? What is it required to maintain the toilet seats? I don't understand.
These are the new ones that Chicago supposedly is using. That when you sit down.
Oh, that's right. It has the little stuff on it that's supposed to move around. You push a button before you sit down, and the little stuff is supposed to move around, but it usually doesn't work.
Right. And then they got suckered into this contract. There's only one company that can supply you the extra plastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the company that sold them the $8,000 seats. So they still got $8,000 seats, 125 sitting they haven't used, and we're paying $2,500, and they want an extension on the contract. They extended it another 90 days, and September or October, they're going to vote on whether they're going to keep the contract for another 3 years. And where do you buy a $2,500 toilet seat? And these are the people that want the extra penny. Give me a break.
Okay, pal. Bye. Just keep that one word in mind. It keeps going through my mind over and over again.
No.
Yeah. I just keeps rattling around in my little brain.
No.
Over and over again. Get smart. As Don Adams would say, get smart before it's too late. Don't let them stick it in there again, okay, and twist it around and give you bleeding, oozing hemorrhoids like, what's his name had?
Roy!
That's right. Don't do that. Start standing up for yourselves and showing that you're not like Fredo. You're not dumb. You're smart, okay? Not like Fredo in The Godfather. You got a little bit of a brain and a little bit of intestinal fortitude, and you're not going to get suckered in again. You see, if they really had something legitimate going on here, they wouldn't have to hit you with these hysterical scare tactics. I mean, that editorial today, it's enough to make you don't know whether to laugh or cry. Just imagine if you vote no, the business climate deteriorates, the economy declines, the tax base withers, poverty worsens in parts of this once vibrant community. This is even worse than casino gambling, sounds like to me. We don't have more Metro Rail. This town's going to go to hell in a handbasket. Can anybody answer why?
No.
No. 100? And by the way, not only just say
no.
The penny sales tax, just say
no.
For a while 100 too, okay? It sucks. Give me a break. No real man, 25 to 54 years of age, would ever admit to listening to that piece of crap, okay? And if you do admit it, one thing we would like to know is...
Why?
Yeah, please. 22 before noon at 560 WQM on a great Wednesday, just out of the blue, a shock out of nowhere comes this miraculous thing. We bailed ourselves out, okay? It's a freaking miracle. Even though the rest of the media, you see, this is a radio show in a vacuum. The rest of the media doesn't even recognize that I'm here. That's the best part. The best part. I don't exist. Especially when Tom Jick is out of town. I don't even exist. And still got like a 10 share in men here, about a 10-5, maybe an 11 share. How do you like that? Double digits. Double frickin' digits. On a make-believe phantom radio station whose idea of promotion is to send Sam and Junior out there in the van, giving away crap that nobody will take. Nice going, Sam.
Oh!
Get a life. Get a real identity. Stop being an appendage.
Yeah, no
Once again, it's time for Boy, That's Gotta Hurt. America's funniest videos that shows the human capacity for pain. If you have a take of a family member, loved one, or a neighbor who has been punched, kicked, or hit in the nuts by a baseball or any other hard object, send it to Boy, That's Gotta Hurt. And don't forget to watch Wednesday nights for Boy, That's Gotta Hurt. Boy, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. 16 till noon is 560 WQM. We got the Hank Goldberg Show from Shula Steak 2 coming up at 2 o'clock. 6 o'clock, what do we got? We got Talking Baseball again, another hour with Donnie B. Can you handle it?
No.
And then we got the pregame at 7 of Marlins and the Phillies. Don't forget tomorrow we got a short show on Election Day because we're getting screwed. Because somebody probably is getting paid off. Marlins at Philadelphia tomorrow at 1, which means the pregame show at 12:30, so we have only a 2.5-hour show tomorrow. Sounds like a communistic conspiracy to me. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's the Grove. Hello.
Hello, doctor.
Yes.
Neil, how you doing?
Great.
It takes a fat Jewish fact to do this great public service for this community.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Let me tell you, it's kind of scary. I'm completely against it, Neil.
Yeah.
But it's scary when it comes down. You know, the big voters down here are the Julio of the Dumont Park old people.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're brainwashed with, well, you're going to get a free bus and this and that. And, well, we don't spend that much money anyway, so, you know, those are the people who scare me.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that go out there massively and they freaking vote.
I would say probably a good idea would be like to keep them occupied down there, give away like free, I don't know, free something, free guacamole or something.
Exactly. And like you said, this city is just not a regular city. This city's not meant for no freaking metro
Of course
rail.
not. I mean, anybody who's lived here more than 5 minutes and knows the topography, the geography, the lay of the land, knows that there is just no way to create. I mean, if we had all the money in the world, we still couldn't create a mass transit system that would work for anybody because it's just not practical. It's not that kind of an area.
Exactly. We all use our car. Hey, if I go to the bathroom, I use my car.
Right.
Okay?
But don't do it at the airport, though. It'll cost us another $2,500.
Exactly. Neil, I have a question for you. All seriousness. What is it that the FCC has against the word shot? I don't understand.
Because they're a bunch of anal retentive old farts. That's what it is. Because we have the word police. Because it's America, man.
It's such a common word. I mean, it's probably one of the first words you learn when you're a little kid.
I had a guy yesterday calling like the third word out of his mouth was bullshot, and I had to dump it, and I had no conversation with the guy because that's the way people speak.
Well, you know, maybe the big huncho from the FCC once had a bad experience with shot or something.
Maybe he has a real problem.
I want to give a little message to my mayor from Dade County, Pinas.
Yes.
Basta ya de los taxes, cojones.
Okay. Okay, that's the K Urmetus, whatever you said. George is chuckling, so it must have been something disgusting and humorous. 56705 and very dirty. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
I got something wonderful for you that you can enjoy. I work out here at FIU.
Right.
And we got a memorandum today from the president, Modesto Medique.
Uh-huh.
You mind if I read a quick passage for you?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. It opens with the first paragraph. On July 29th, Miami-Dade voters will be given the opportunity to vastly improve our county's congested transportation system. Voter approval will also bring $90 million in scholarship funding to FIU over the next 20 years, providing opportunities for thousands of outstanding Miami-Dade students to
for all
attend our
your kids
university.
that are going to be at FIU in 20 years, by the way, here's your chance to really save on your tuition.
It continues on later on. The transportation benefits to Miami-Dade County will be unparalleled. Funding will support a dramatic expansion to the Metro Rail system, including a much-needed link between University Park campus and North Campus.
Yeah.
There will also be a vastly improved and expanded bus system, 86 new lanes, miles of expressways, and widening the length to 363 lane miles of expressways. And it says, I urge your consideration on this important issue.
Yeah.
This is singular opportunity.
I urge you to consider voting.
No.
That's what I urge.
No.
That's it.
This is a singular opportunity to develop a comprehensive transportation system in our county and to establish an FIU community fund to provide scholarships to Metro-Dade residents.
Yeah, so when your grandchildren are going to school there and you're saying, oh, my God, I can only afford to send my grandkids to FIU. In 20 years from now, maybe this thing will be here, but probably not.
Right, and you know what I'm going to vote tomorrow.
Talk about an empty promise, man. Talk about if come.
The only thing they don't realize is I know a lot of dead people, so I'm going to get them all out there tomorrow. And we're going to go vote.
We're raiding the cemeteries tonight.
No. Guess what we're voting?
Okay.
give it to him.
Okay, pal.
Thanks, bye.
I'm looking on this phone thing here, and I see Ernie Sochin, misspelled, by the way, George, bad spelling. I see Ernie Sochin. Well, when you're this famous, you're supposed to spell his name right.
I would hope so.
He's probably looking for his socks still. How are you, Ernie?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Neil?
Excellent.
I wish I were on the air so I could support this thing of yours. This is absolutely driving me nuts, this penny sales tax thing.
Yeah. Now, do you still live in Dade County?
Who are the major supporters of the fund this morning? The builders.
Yeah.
The builders.
What a shock that is. The people that are going to fleece the public again, right.
The guys who cause all the congestion and traffic to begin with are the ones that are financing this whole stupid thing.
Right.
And it seems like I'm amazed at otherwise intelligent people who are being duped by this thing. People that I used to have respect for suddenly think that this is going to be a panacea and it's going to solve all the problems in Dade County.
And who might those people be?
I don't know. And maybe they'll bring Levon Hernandez back. That'll really solve everything.
I don't think he's got his yellow card.
Jeez. And I guess what everyone seems to be thinking is that if this thing passes, everybody else would use the metro rail and then leave the highways free for them.
Oh, yeah,
That's
right.
got to be the only logic that I can understand.
Yeah, just like the first 11 miles.
Yeah.
Remember how we fought that thing the first time? And
I'm afraid too many people do not remember that.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems.
And then they rigged the election anyway. Just like when it looked like it was going to lose there late at night, they miraculously found a bunch of dead people in Homestead and rigged the election anyway.
Absolutely incredible what they've been able to do, and they're going to fool the people again. That's what I'm afraid of. People really think this. I got a thing from the Coconut Grove Playhouse telling me I better vote for this thing, or we may lose the Coconut Grove Playhouse.
Yeah, how are you going to continue with life then?
Oh, brother. Anyway, keep up what you're doing. I wish that I could be on the air and talk to some more people. We need more people like you on there. It's good hearing your voice again.
Good hearing from you, Ernie. Take care of yourself.
Buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here's a good guy, Ernie Sochin. Remember those days when Ernie used to be on the air with us?
No.
On W Snooze?
No.
INZ?
No.
IOD?
No.
Don't remember those days? We used to do those buyer rhythm shows. Anybody alive who remembers those shows?
No.
No. Okay. No, well, you can show me. I'm not going to repeat it on the air. Yeah. Now, what demographic is this?
Men.
No, I'm not giving any, I'm not, you're so nervous. Beautiful. Wow, look at that. Well, I'm telling you, we're great. You know, if I do say so myself.
Oh, God.
I'm just going to start licking myself all over my body. I really am. That's astonishing. And thanks for all the promotion, too, Greg. We couldn't have done it without you. 567-0560, pound 560 on the. See, the bad part of it is when you get a great book like this, and this keeps happening over and over again, and they don't do any promotion. They say, well, why should we spend any money? Because look how great we're doing anyway. Well, we better start spending money because they're putting some heavy-duty competition on that station on 2800 on the dial that's going on August, whatever it is. Which I guarantee you, the Herald, if this thing loses tomorrow, I guarantee you the Herald will run a front-page series, very jackass, starting on Friday about that new station on 3600 on the AM dial. They'll be running full-page things on the front page with Barry Jackass's picture on there, with his tongue on somebody's
rectum
over there at 4900 on the AM dial. That's how desperate they are to try to bury us, and guess what? We're burying them. That's the best part. Everybody hates the Herald. Let's hear it.
Oh!
Everybody hates the frickin' Herald, including especially us, because they suck. Because they're a bunch of selfish, self-aggrandizing. They don't give a crap about you or anybody else in the community. All they care about is what's good for them. And just remember, the same people that are giving you a lecture about how you ought to vote tomorrow, these are the ones that picked up their goodies and ran off to Silicon Valley out there in California with the Knight Ridder headquarters. Because this town was such a toilet, they didn't want to stay here. The same people that gave you the original Metro fail, the same people that, Tony Ritter that put over this Mickey Arison deal here, the same people that gave you all the old crap right up the old rectum, and now they're trying to tell you how to vote tomorrow. See, I'm going to tell you right now, when the Herald tries to tell you one thing, I would immediately run in the other direction. If they say it's night, I would look up at the sun and close my eyes because I would know the sun is shining brightly. If they say it's Tuesday, then it must be Wednesday. Because they lie a lot. Because they're a bunch of self-serving pricks is what they are at the Herald. Here's a mobile in the Grove. Hello.
Hallelujah, Neil.
Yes,
Amen.
sir.
Hey, you know what the latest is? The bus drivers are stopping and giving a 5-minute sermon on the bus as to why people should vote for this tax.
Boy!
And somebody brought up the airport. Forget the toilet seats. We didn't have carts at the airport because they were extorting the cart company for 50% of their business in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, if John Gotti had this crew to work with, he'd still be out.
Right,
you know?
that's right.
It's you know, I don't understand how 10 people, well, that don't work for the government or a construction company are going to vote yes tomorrow. I just don't understand it.
Well, early and often, man. Get up there early and
All right,
keep
I
at
got
it
5
all.
voters registrations.
All right. Okay. Oh, that's right. We got a real surprise for you, Mr. Mayor Pinga. We got dead people. We got people that don't live here. We got people that haven't been born yet. We got the fetus huggers who are going to bring in 50,000 fetuses that are going to vote tomorrow. That's right. We got a real shock for you, sweetheart. Because you think they can get up there with all those fakers standing behind you, that bunch of losers. It looks like the Bowery Boys standing behind them there, and you know, mumble a few words. Oh, no, it's not going to be like before, all the broken promises. And everybody in town is bending, they're doubled over in laughter. Doubled over in laughter because you got no credibility, you jackass. You're a fool, you're a clown. And just keep in mind, one of the most important things is this guy won't have to be around here to answer for this because he's got much higher aspirations than this. That's with 2 S's. He wants to be, like we said yesterday, Governor Corleone, Senator Corleone, Vice President Corleone. He can't be President Corleone. In fact, he couldn't be vice. How could he be Vice President? Was he born here?
I think he was.
Oh. Well, I say let's run him for Vice President, okay? Let's put him up there. Get him the hell out of here. Yeah, just give him a little orifice there, the Oral Office Junior, and get him the hell out of here before he destroys it. And then, of course, the best deal is now in the city of Miami, now we're going to have the election in November. And Joe Carroyo is real upset because now they can cut short his term because now they want to have a strong mayor in Miami. I say let's have Mayor Suarez back. Oh! Can't get much stronger than that. We want a dictator form of mayorship in Miami. Let's bring Xavier back, okay? He'll be running around up and down the streets in his underwear going like that, knocking on your door at 3 in the morning. At least we'll get a little humor back in this town. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and he'll be calling up the Herald with death threats, too, like he was the last time. Remember that? Here's a Lady Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello. Lady Mobile. 24 minutes and 25 seconds, and probably your phone crapped out. Well, it's a good thing anyway. We didn't have time to talk to her. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. It's 4 minutes before noon here at 560 WQAM, the station that stands way above the rest and then drops a good load on their heads while they're not looking. Do you see those numbers, by the way? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh! WQAM, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a malcontent Julio who floated into town. And when I read the Herald, I just can't put it down. Since all the gringos moved away, they ought to try to get the El Miami Herald to change its name instead to Miami Pandora. Miami Pandora. It makes my tongue roll and roll and roll and roll. And it's perfect for a town where there's no life to be found outside of what we do the best, like robbing ATMs and shooting tourists in the head. El Herald caters to the arrogant and hostile Julio. It's Camudista, this and that, that's all you need to know. I read it when I get a case of black bean squirts, and then I wipe my ass on my Guayabera shirt.
Rectum.
Miami Pandora, Miami Pandora.
Yes.
It makes my tongue the Miami Pandora, Miami Pandora. It makes my tongue We're a world-class city, aren't we? Yes. Channel 4, anything.
12:02 at 560 WQAM. We're number one, baby. We're kicking some serious ass. Oh! If we can just get a little help around us here now. No, they're doing okay. They're doing good. What do you want from them, huh? What do you want from those guys? They're stuck with what, they inherited that crap they got to talk about. And by the way, I don't want to mention that somebody said, I don't want to say it was our program director who said like a few weeks ago, well, back in January we had that big month because of the Super Bowl. Does the Super Bowl have anything to do with listening audience on this show?
No.
Does anybody with a brain believe that?
No.
Now let's see. This spring rating book that just came in, that we kicked some just major ass. April, May, and June. Did they play any football games except the CFL? Did they play any games in those months?
No.
They played the Super Bowl in April, May, or June?
No.
And we still kicked ass. As we continue like heavy, heavy cream rising to the top. You know what I'm talking about?
Squirt, squirt.
Eat your heart out, Eric Clapton. And how's that kid doing, by the way? Oh, he's still out the window? 5670560, pound 560. See, I hate to break the news to you. This show is for people with a sense of humor. People who, on the one hand, have enough brains that maybe they want to go out and vote tomorrow because they're pissed off and fired up. But on the other hand, don't take life quite so seriously and have a sense of humor and aren't uptight about somebody saying crap or even taking one. Unless it's on a $2,500 toilet seat at the airport. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, I just got something to add here. First of all, I wish I could vote in the election tomorrow.
Oh, come on down anyway. Just phoning up a registration card. We need your vote.
Yeah, really. But there's something I want to pass on to you. I work as a bellman at a Radisson hotel that's near the ocean in Boca.
Uh-huh.
And about 2 years ago, Mickey Arison was staying in the hotel.
Oi!
And he once never tipped us when we pulled his car up. Never said thank you, and when we checked him out, he didn't give us anything. He totally stiffed us the whole time.
How do you like that?
Yeah, and so when I
The
hear
guy is a billionaire. That's with a B. His daddy's got the $9 billion he ran off to Israel, 10 years, no taxes, tax-free, and this guy doesn't subsidize the local governments or the federal government because all his cruise ships are, foreign registry to whatever the hell they're registered to some foreign country, and this guy is so cheap he's not even tipping you guys?
No, and the thing is, he never said thank you, and he just seemed like such an arrogant bastard.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely horrible guest. Absolutely horrible.
Thanks
and so when I hear everything that you're saying about him and these other guys and the cookery they're trying to pull and that he's already pulled with the arena, it just doesn't surprise me at all.
Excellent. Thanks for the good news.
Thank you, Neil.
See ya. There you go. Not only has he got more money than God, not only has he got the politicians in his pocket pulling all these little magical last-minute turnaround deals for him, but he's also a cheap prick. How do you like that?
Oh!
56705. See, I don't know about you, but it seems to me the day has come when a lot of people in this town ought to be tired of subsidizing very wealthy, spoiled people, like Mickey Arison, like Wayne Hypinga, like John Henry, and don't forget, I get my hockey tickets free and all the other sports too. John Henry. Here's a man they're writing about. He just went off to Alaska a week ago on his 165-foot yacht. He's going to go up there and diddle around on. And he's exploring various sites where he would like us to build him a stadium. So they can put that minor league ball club in there that you're expected to go and subsidize and suffer with. And every time you get a player that looks promising that you start to like a little bit, oh, guess what? We'll trade him away anyway because it's going to be 100 years before they start making any money back, even a new domed stadium that you're supposed to build for them. I don't know about you because I make a few bucks, but I'm sick. I don't think I'm that crazy about subsidizing millionaires on stuff that I don't really need or want anyway. 5670560, pound 560 on our mobile one line, and the calls are free, and so is the show. How do you like that?
Oh!
The price is right. Here's a mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Pretty good, sir.
The guy who called maybe a half hour ago about the memo they passed at FIU.
Uh-huh.
Modesto Medic. He's on the board of directors of Carnival.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Modesto Modic is on their board of directors, so he has an incestuous relationship with the just aforementioned Mr. Arison?
Absolutely correct, sir.
Modesto Modic, who's the new president over there at FIU.
Take it easy, Neil.
Thanks for the good news. How do you like that? You see this little web of interwoven incestuous relationships here? You see how it all comes down?
Uh-huh.
Just like Tony Ritter and just like the Herald and Mickey Arison, all in there, that little small area downtown. The so-called downtown power structure and the non-group sitting around having their non-meetings, pulling all the strings. And Mr. Penis, by the way, he's just a little puppet. That's all he is. Just a little puppet. I'm sure they're making all kinds of promises to him. Oh, they'll support him. He's going to run for Congress. He's going to run for Senate. And he's going to be the vice president. He's going to be the president of the Shriners Club something someday. Just all a bunch of little puppets with their own aspirations who couldn't give a crap less about the little people out there. They're not concerned about the little people other than that when they need it, they want your money. They want you to turn your money over to them. But other than that, they couldn't give a crap less. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
County employee who opposes the penny sales tax.
Oh!
And I got in trouble for throwing away all the pamphlets.
Really?
Yes, sir.
How did they find out about it?
Somebody saw me throw a stack of about 50 of them in the garbage.
Oh, you got to do a little more tactfully than that. Just do it one at a time.
That's how many they gave me to pass them out.
Uh-huh.
I just throw. I don't support this. I threw it all away.
Good for you.
Because I see the waste that happens every day.
Excellent.
It's terrible, and there's a lot of other county employees that don't support it.
Okay, well, you make sure.
And they're all Neil Rogers fans.
Make sure that each and every one of them votes no 3 or 4 times tomorrow at the very minimum.
We're going to dig up some corpses and take them to the polls.
All right. Thanks, pal.
All right, Neil.
There you go. See, you can tell people, okay, whatever you say, we want to keep our jobs. And then, of course, when you go in there, they're not looking over your shoulder. They don't know whether it's a yes or a no. Tell them you're going to vote yes and then vote no. That's the way to do it. Say, don't blame me. I did my part. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. In case you missed it, the ratings came out. This station is kicking serious big major ass. Don't ask us how we did it because we haven't got the foggiest idea other than this show. But we got a real good idea what that's all about because we know that everybody in this town is listening right now, even the ones who don't admit it, the ones who claim they hate it like poison. That's why every time we get a detractor who calls, because obviously they need serious mental health, I say thank you so much for listening to 560 WQM. And if they get diaries, will they ever put it down?
No.
Will they be honest?
No.
Will they admit they're listening?
No.
So how do you like that? I think we got 130% of the audience listening between 10 and 2, if you ask me. Look at Joe Costello. He's walking around having his celebratory thing. He's walking around in his Hawaiian shirt with his big cap today saying, yeah, it's that auto racing show on Saturday morning. That's what put us over the top, goddammit. You believe that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. About time we had some real sports on this station instead of that stupid-ass golf. That's for pansies. Golf.
Kiss my shillelagh. Oh! Once again, it's time for Boy, That's Gotta Hurt. America's funniest videos that shows the human capacity for pain. If you have a tape of a family member, loved one, or a neighbor who has been punched, kicked, or hit in the nuts by a baseball or any other hard object, send it to Boy, That's Gotta Hurt. And don't forget to watch Wednesday nights for Boy, That's Gotta Hurt. Boy, that's gotta hurt.
Did I just play that? I don't know if I played it. Well, I'm so carried away with all the stuff going on today. If I played it before, it was worth hearing a second time, wasn't it?
No.
It was okay. 12:15 at 560 WQAM. Here's a fax from Penny in Fort Lauderdale who says, just wanted to say my husband told me to listen to you weeks ago, and although I do not listen to much of my husband's advice, I did listen to you and must say for once he was right. Oh! How do you like that? Nice going, Penny. That's for you, sweetheart. Secondly, I wanted to say that Ron and Ron were on before I started listening to rock, but I do listen to Paul and Ron in the morning. They're not as humorous as you, but I find them funny, especially to look at. So I was just wondering how Zeta did in the spring book. Thanks, says Penny in Fort Lauderdale. Well, I'll tell you what, Penny. Here's the mornings, 2554, which, of course, on Zeta is their target demographic.
Persons or men?
Persons. Meaning what? Is Penny a man?
That's what I thought.
I mean, I'll get to the men in a second, mister. Don't start getting so pushy. And by the way, for all those George detractors and George bashers out there, all you programming mavens and experts that said, oh, yeah, are you crazy? What are you thinking about? Bring those tapes back. Well, guess what? George was on for a week out of this 13-week rating period. Am I right? The end of May?
Right.
And we still did sensation.
June, middle June.
Well, whatever the hell it was.
And end of May.
What? No. Now you're getting carried away. The very end of June and the end of May. Like I said, George was on 10 of the 13 weeks, and that's why we did so great. April, when I was on the whole month, we did crappy. Trying to give him a compliment right away. No, I was on. I would think I was on all 13 weeks, so you were out of here, weren't you, fatso, old man? So anyway, Persons 2554. Howard had an 8.6 in the morning, number 1. Radio Amor 7.2 is number 2. Hot 105. Taking a pretty good drop over there, by the way, over at the Cox people. They can't afford to drop too much because Cox is buying up all those cable companies, everything under the in sight. The Y100 with that inflated, distorted thing they had. But anyway, Zeta had a 4.3, down from a 5.3 in the fall book. Zeta took a hit in the morning. They took a pretty good dump in there. So they were number 7 in the morning. In a person. Now, men 2554, I'm so glad you asked. And I have no idea where that is because Junior was just in here, and these are all jumbled up now. And I thank him for that because they'll kill some more good time while I'm fumbling around and looking for the demo. Look at that. That looks so great. That looks so sensational. Look in here and see this. To see big Howard's number 1 in the morning, men 2554 with a 12.1 share, down slightly from the fall, but only slightly. And there's QAM 5.9. We're number 2 in the morning in men. I'm pretty damn proud of it. But anyway, men 2554, how did Zeta do now that you mentioned it? Mentioned Howard's got a 12.1. Zeta's number 3. Even we beat them out. How do you like that, huh? Dropping from a 7.1 to a 5.8. So there you go, boys and girls. There's the Zeta report. And you're entitled, Penny. Not everybody's perfect. And if you missed Paul's material the first time, when some of the rest of us gave it, it can be pretty amusing second time around. 5670560. We got 400 open lines here on a great Wednesday. One of the great days of our lives. I'll tell you that. Even Greg's walking around with that big smile on his puss like something good happened. I don't know what it was, but something pretty good happened. 5670560, pound 560 on our mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile in Miami after waiting. We got some people today talk about patience. They wait a long time and then they vanish. Okay, sorry, not. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil. I'm a bus rider, and I think this opinion for the poor person. We ain't got no Corvette, no Mercedes like Freeman. All that Freeman full of crap.
Yeah.
We need this for all the working people who got to catch the bus to get to work.
All the working people that want to pay another penny sales tax on almost everything they buy.
That's right, 'cause we need this transportation 'cause we can't afford no Corvette, you know.
Uh-huh.
I know. I need this bus. I need this Metro Rail. And look at Brown County. They only have no transportation
how
in
about a
Brown County.
beautiful brown Toyota?
Brown County, the bus start running 9 o'clock in Brown. You can't get a bus on Sunday in Brown County.
Yeah.
So when you talk about that transportation sometimes, so they count all the time.
Yeah, okay. Get a bike would be good. Get a little bicycle. Have somebody teach you how to ride it. Start out with one of those 3-wheelers would be good. A little training bra would be good too. You notice the nature of the people who have called these last several days who are the yes people? Have you noticed 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line? Here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how you doing? Okay, I got something that I don't know if people have been paying attention to.
No.
But when you go through the toll roads, you get a piece of paper that's tax deductible.
Yeah.
Would you get tax deductible from a 1.5 sales tax? Where's the advantage?
There is none.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
That's what I wanted to bring to people's attention. You can always use that piece of paper, and it's
Oh,
tax
sure.
deductible.
There are a whole bunch of people, like people who work, who have to drive the thing every day for work, who are commuters, who get the receipt, of course.
You save them up, and you get it back at the end of the year.
That's right.
So, all right, sir. Have a good day.
Thanks for the good point. Thank you. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's Miami Lakes. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
First of all, for the penny sales tax, I'm going to vote hell no. And second of all, why is it that in the daytime I can never find any prostitutes?
Well, you're hanging out in the wrong parts of town, okay? Call in the afternoon. Hank will give you some pointers. He'll tell you where to go. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Well, you know, or you've heard that Raul Martinez, Mayor of Hialeah, is against.
That is absolutely correct, sir. Mayor Martinez says
No.
That's
I
right.
applaud Mayor Martinez on his decision.
And so do I, because if we don't, he'll beat the crap out of us. Right.
One thing I was going to mention, though, they're saying that the airport is a heavily congested area, and that is correct. It is a heavily congested area.
Uh-huh.
Something that I've been trying to get somebody to listen to from the county is that there is an avenue, Northwest 37th Avenue, which is the hub of all the rental vehicles that are being rented by everybody coming out of the airport.
Right.
Okay, those people, instead of continuing on 37th Avenue going north, there's a dead end on 37th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is it just adds to the congestion over on Lejeune. One suggestion: it would cost maybe $100,000, maybe $150,000 at most. Make one bridge to connect 37th Avenue to Okeechobee and to the 112 Expressway.
Yeah.
And that would greatly lessen the congestion of Lejeune heading north or south, right in the airport area.
Mm-hmm. I think you're starting to make trouble now, man.
Beating too many bushes.
Right.
Hey, viva Julio.
Okay.
Bye-bye, sir.
Oh, by the way, speaking of beating bushes, last night, for some reason, in my channel surfing at 11 o'clock, I came on Channel 7 News, which I very rarely do. And Rick Sanchez, who must have been hyperventilating something more than usual last night, talked about some guy that got hit on his bike, a hit and run, and he got tossed into the bushes. B-U-S-H-E-S, as in Governor Bush. He got tossed into the bushes. I think that since Rick heard about that guy dying that he hit in the car in front of PV Park that time, he's never been the same again. He's like crumbling at the seams. Because you know that guy? He's dead.
Oh.
567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line here. We got 20 or 30,000 openings here for you on a great Wednesday. We're having a good time. Whether you want to participate or not, that's up to you. Tomorrow's the big day, baby. Oh! Tomorrow's D-Day. It's D-Day. Let's see if we can get some living, beat the bushes a little bit here, and see if we can find some living and breathing people in so-called Miami-Dade County, which that was another piece of ingenuity they came up with, changing the name of the county. So they'd have to spend all that taxpayer money to change all the stationery, all the signs, everything under the sun. Because just plain old Dade County, that wasn't good enough. Like nobody knew what Dade County was. All you had to do, I travel all over the world, okay? And if you mentioned you were from Dade County, they'd all go
Oy!
Like that. They knew what it was. They'd start making little sounds, like, and then they would go,
Oi!
They knew. Maybe it's an attempt to camouflage it. Here's North Miami. Hello. North Miami.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Clarify one thing for me on this penny sales tax. If you purchase a refrigerator, let's say in Broward County, and you live in Dade.
Well, they don't have registrations for refrigerators, so you're not going to pay the extra. Of course not. You're not going to pay the extra penny in Broward.
Well,
the only thing that you would pay the extra penny on would be a car, because the car is based on where it's registered to, which is your address. So if you live in Dade, it won't do you any good to buy the car in Broward. But anything short of that, major purchases like refrigerators and TV sets, big screen TVs, $5,000-$6,000 TVs, people will go to Broward to spend their money.
But if you have it delivered to your home and you live in Dade, are they going to...
Doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make any difference?
No.
So the sales tax will be based on
unless, of course, the mayor comes up with the delivery police. Maybe we'll start that now.
That's right. Okay, thanks, Neil.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, one call left on the board, and then we can play some music and have a little party here to celebrate the great ratings, because they just don't care. They can't keep it up. Every day right about this time. You think they're eating lunch or something like that. We don't care, because we know you're all out there. We know you're all out there squeezing yourselves. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Let's take this last call. Mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Just not much material. Just a comment on the receipt that you get that you can claim at the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
I'm being audited. Unfortunately, that's printed on fax paper. And the first 2 years, there's nothing on the paper but white. And they said, you have all these pieces of paper. You sure you went through the toll?
Yeah.
Then on the Gratney toll, up until yesterday, you go through and you pay your 50 cents. It only gives you a 25-cent receipt.
Uh-huh. How do you like that?
They should push it twice.
Right.
Couldn't believe it. Thanks, Neil.
Get one of those, he's gone, one of those SunPass deals, because then I think then you can automatically record it. You get a receipt for the money that when you send them the money for the SunPass thing, I believe. I'm sure. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Look at that. Everybody's eating Taco Bell, which I have to pass on because I'm eating lunch at Mommy's today. What is it?
Roasted pepper.
Roasted peckers? Oh, my God. And I got to pass because I'm going to Mommy's today, and I'm having my lunch there. But don't worry, because I'm going to rifle through her garbage for a couple of hours. I'm going to rifle through everything, every garbage can, under the beds. I'm going to be rummaging through that joint. After all, I own it.
This is the most disgusting program. I urge everyone to complain to this station.
Okay.
All right.
People are watching, women are staring, they're green who's indeed. But I'm not sharing, some say he's brainless, not much fun talking, not much to look at, but I ain't looking, he smells just a little too much, his eyes are a little too slow. shout. Oh! The girls would scream if he let it out. He got a really big trouser trap. I'm fishing for love. He got a really big trouser trap.
Yes.
That boy can make me just twist and shout. He got a really big trouser trap. I'm fishing for love. He got a really big trouser trap. He got a really big trouser trap. He got a really big trouser trap. Fishing for love.
Father O'Toole, God.
1232 at 560 WQM. So the deal is we're analyzing these ratings here. Come to find out that Ricky Martin has put Y100 on top. But that should be no surprise. He puts everybody else on top, too, is what I hear. By the way, I never even got to the story about Joey Carr. If you've been around town for a long time, about 200-300 years like I have, dining and dancing, the worst commercials in the history of the human race, Joey Carr, TV pitchman. Joan Fleischman's got a whole big article today with a picture. Which one's got the Tony? Escort sues for a piece of wealthy widow's estate. Escort. For 15 years, 89-year-old TV huckster Joey Carr escorted millionaire philanthropist Polly Luxter Hirschmeyer about town. He escorted her to charity events, nightclubs, racetracks, restaurants, later fed her in her wheelchair before her death last year at 98. Carr, 68, is now suing her estate for upwards of $6 million, alleging breach of contract and fraud. She reneged on a promise to take care of him, he claims, omitting him from her will.
Oh!
Right. I lost my biggest clients. I sacrificed everything for Polly, he says. I gave up my office. I gave up my dining and dancing. I went downhill all the way. And now I'm only appearing in one commercial on Whammy. How do you like that? On Whammy.
Whammy. God, it sucks.
Yeah. Good old Joey Carr, man. There's a guy. Well, could he sell something or what?
No.
No, the worst. The corniest commercials in the history. The worst commercials in the history of television. And he's still got 4 or 5 clients who haven't caught on to him yet. Good luck to you, Joey. You'll need it. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, get this. I'm driving through Miami Lakes, right?
Yeah.
And then I come across a road called Alex Pinellas Drive. Now, what has this guy done to get a road named after him?
He's been mayor for about 15 minutes. How the hell's he got a road named after him already?
Before he did the Mickey Harrison deal, he went ahead and gave himself a road, is what he did.
When are we going to get Jorge Mas Canosa Highway?
Anyways, that's all I got. And vote no, no, no.
No.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. Early and often tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day, baby. I hope that by the time I come on here at 10 o'clock tomorrow, each and every one of you who's a registered voter in Dade County has voted at least 3 times no, and then is getting ready to roll up your sleeves and get serious the rest of the day. I'd go around knocking on doors if I were you, door to door, and say, are you registered? And if they say, just drag them. Don't even wait for them to get dressed. Drag them down to their polling place and make sure they're polling it, okay? 5670560. Here's the one. I can smell it. We're so close to a major victory for the real people in Dade County. Not the morons, not the naive idiots, not the people with an IQ in a minus column who really believe the bullcrap that's being peddled to them now. 20 years ago, they sold you a bill of goods, a $1 billion boondoggle, and like Richard Friedman pointed out when he called, it really is a $2 billion boondoggle. With all the minus, the revenue that's had to be paid, all the money that's been lost because of the fact that it's a flop. To quote the Sun Sentinel, who are even kind of in a wishy-washy way saying, oh yeah, yes vote's a good idea, but they're still saying it was a flop. F-L-O-P, flop, flop, flop. Remember that commercial? Flop, flop, whatever that thing was? That's right. And if this thing does pass, there won't be enough Alka-Seltzer to go around in this town in the years to come when the deficits continue running up and up and the delays and the overruns. Just like Carl Heisen says in his award, he should get a goddamn Pulitzer Prize for his column on Sunday morning in the Herald. I'm surprised they put it in there. Should have been on the front page. Of course, we got Barry Jackass writing columns about that sports station. And Levon leaving town, that's got to be on the front page. Not something important. Yeah, Levon. How are we going to go on without Levon? That's what Elton John said. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, long time, first time, long time, Neil.
All right.
No, just to let you know, the only people that are going to vote for this thing, yes, tomorrow are the Cuban junkie, radio junkies.
Yeah.
I called my mom yesterday, and she's going to vote yes, and she. That's it. Those are the only people. Because I mean, if you were to spend $1 in 2 tolls, so $2 every weekday, you'd probably spend up to $600 in a year or less.
Yeah.
You'll top that off within 3 months with this sales tax. 3-4 months. It's ridiculous.
Amen.
Man. So vote no.
Okay, thanks, pal. Take away their dominoes before it's too late. By the way, I want to correct. I said you got Taco Bell today, so I didn't even give these people a nice plug, and it's really the Roasted Pepper is the name of the place. Isn't that what our former senator and congressman, wasn't that his name, the Roasted Pepper?
Claude.
What?
Roasted Claude Pepper.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
Oh, no.
Oh. But anyway.
9893 Pines in Pembroke Pines.
9893 Pines in Pembroke Pines. It's called a Roasted Pepper. And what do they got? They brought free food for George and Joe here today.
Gourmet stuff like broccoli chicken and penny pasta with stuff and mushrooms. Gourmet pizza.
Sounds like a whole bunch of stuff I can't eat except for the shrooms.
But they said they'd hook you up.
Great. They got some Atkins stuff there, too. Great. Excellent. Had a nice Atkins dinner at the Rimmers last night. Thanks a lot, Farrell. Was outstanding. Great steak and broccoli with Atkins cheese sauce. And then she gave these 2 big pieces of candy to John that she brought back from the West Coast. And, of course, I had one of them on the way home. Screwed up my whole Atkins day. Thanks, Farrell. Well, she knew I'd eat one of them. Hey, listen. And then I never even told the story about how my adjusting. Your close personal friend, Rimmer. If anybody wants to question his work on the Panther games, you know, if he could see, then maybe he'd do a little bit better job, you know? He's a blind man. I haven't been in their house in a year or two, and last time I was there, I had to adjust his big satellite dish. He's got the big dish, the small dish, monkey see, monkey do, you know? And I go in there, and I'm looking like at a dark screen. The picture is so dark, you can barely, I'm flipping around on a big satellite dish, and Rosie O'Donnell is like red, which is fine with me because I can't stand that bitch. She's red and purple. The colors are all distorted. The picture's real dark. 2/3 of the satellites he doesn't even have tuned in right. 2 hours I sat there and worked feverishly. See, it was, you know, I got a free meal, but I had to work for it. It was a good meal, but boy, I had to work my ass off for that meal. Adjusting and twisting and resetting and installing and getting him on the phone with the satellite people to get the right package. Unbelievable. I have great heightened respect for the fact that here's a man who's legally blind doing those hockey games. Nice going there, Rimmer.
Oh! I've got 2 sets of lips.
Listen to me. This is Stan Feinstein for Sofa King, understand? Where everything is held to the high Sofa King standards. The selection isn't just huge, it's Sofa King huge. Believe me, you'll never shop anywhere else. And Sofa King's prices aren't just low, they're Sofa King low. You'll never find them anywhere else. Listen to me. When I say Sofa King has a beautiful store, I mean Sofa King beautiful. When I say the staff is helpful, I mean Sofa King helpful. Listen to me. Get to know the Sofa King and enjoy a selection that's Sofa King huge. A staff that's Sofa King courteous and prices that are Sofa King low. You'll never shop anywhere else. But don't take it from me. Take it from satisfied customer Frank N. Stein.
Sofa King good.
You said it, Frankie. Sofa King good.
That's what I hear. 1244 at 560 WQM. Happy Wednesday to you, July 28th. You can just smell it, can't you? It's in the air, man. Even Thunderclap Newman is ready for it tomorrow. You can feel it coming, so to speak. Can we say that?
No.
Okay, like I said, you can't feel it coming. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great.
Neil, listen, I called about 10 days ago and we talked about sales tax and all of the taxes in the state of Florida.
Uh-huh.
And if the state would allow the employees to do their job, you could actually lower taxes.
Yes.
Real quickly, one of the taxes that you and I never spoke about, but we pay every day, every one of us, regardless of the county that we live in,
Yeah.
motor fuel tax.
What is it?
Motor fuel tax.
Motor fuel tax,
Every
yeah.
time we pump gas in the car,
Mm-hmm.
federal and state money goes
Gas
from
tax.
every gallon, gas tax, in layman's terms, and
Uh-huh.
it goes into the state coffers. You know, I was down in the Florida Keys over the weekend. Mid-Keys, gasoline is 5 cents a gallon less, which means that there's less tax
Right.
being collected.
Right.
And I've got to tell you something. It is more expensive to live in Monroe County. Cost of living, you have to wonder what's going on here in Dade County. Everyone needs to vote no tomorrow. Everyone needs to vote no. And this sham of the buses will run 24 hours a day. Who rides them now?
Yeah.
Who rides them now? Hardly anybody.
That's correct.
Who's going to be riding a bus at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
unless you're in full battle gear?
Right.
Remember the motor fuel tax every time you pump gas in your car, and remember to vote no tomorrow.
Okay, God bless you, pal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Here's a fax from Stephen Fort Myers who says, with regard to the election tomorrow, will you have the access and opportunity to give your listeners updates on the voting results?
No.
No, because, of course, they don't give you that until the polls close tomorrow night. But come Friday morning, we'll be on here having a gigantic party. Ratings party,
No.
On the election party. And by the way, Steve says he's in Fort Myers, the second biggest crap hole next to Dade County, and there is no interest in the Marlins over there. How do you like that? He says, on Friday I went into a sports bar where they have 4,362 TVs with no volume, and they were broadcasting CNN and not the Marlins.
Oh!
I asked the bartender, why don't they turn the Marlins game on? And his answer was, because people leave when we put them on. People go running out when they put the Marlins on, screaming. How do you like that? Yeah, quit screwing around with the Neil Rogers show. That's what they say in Fort Myers. We want the whole show. We don't want some stupid ball game with a bunch of minor league kids on there. We don't want no Marlins game tomorrow. But like I said, I'm entrusting. I'm leaving it in Hank's hands. He'll be on after the ball game tomorrow, 4:30 or thereabouts till 6 o'clock, and then the Mad Dog. So I'm leaving it in their capable hands of making sure, as often as they possibly can, interrupt that important sports rap of theirs with reminders to just get out there and do the job tomorrow, please. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
First thing, big fat red-blooded American no.
All right.
And secondly, about that guy calling from Miami Lakes. Have you been through that toilet lately?
No. I don't go anywhere near Miami Lakes.
Well, put it this way, they couldn't have put his name in a better place with all the nice little Cuban gang members and mafioso kids running around American High there beating old people up. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's really great. It's next best thing to Miami.
That's not Peter Leonard in the doorway there, is it? Oh, I'm going to kill myself. Thanks for the good news, pal.
Good day.
I'm staying away from there. What do you want, Peter? What are those? Oh, Peter's even brought his old laundry to work today. That's good, because he doesn't know if it's a radio station or a Chinese laundry. Why don't you, clean yourself up? You know, look like a human being. Just one day would be so good. You're so schmutzy looking. Plus, doesn't he have a complexion like Ron Diaz that we were talking about yesterday? That kind of burnt baseball glove look?
He's a shade lighter.
Burnt leather look, yeah. Okay, we got six. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on here. The last 3 days in a row, so we're doing fine considering it's the dog days. But I'll tell you, it gets to be about 12:30, and these people have got better priorities than talking to me, which I find very difficult to believe in this town. I can't imagine what you could be, unless you're smoking some good crap or getting laid or both. I can't imagine anything you could be doing more important than talking to a big shot like me with these double-digit ratings we got. What are you babbling about? What is he talking about? What is he saying?
Well, ignore him.
No,
I do.
But he's giving me hand signals. How about this signal? You know what this means? One on each
here, makes
hand
all
for you,
kinds
Peter.
of signals and says all kinds of things.
But what is that? What is he asking me about? What?
It's his wife's birthday. That's what she wants to know.
Well, what's your wife's name?
Nancy.
Well, I got two messages for Nancy, okay? Number one, my condolences, and number two, happy birthday, and clean your husband up, okay? People are starting to talk. Just before you kick his ass out, clean him up a little bit. Get out of here already. Take your laundry and get out of here. Guy's walking around with a bunch of... Oh, and you notice he had two pair of pants on together. That must have been for a fat boy. He must be going on one of those dates this afternoon. 5670560, pound 5, isn't that what they call it? Pound 560 on the mobile one line. Oh yeah, fat boy comes in here again this morning. Asked me about several accounts. Would I do this?
No.
Would I do that?
No.
Get out of here. See again, hockey season, next hockey season, okay, Fat? Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, Rimmer gives me the Panthers schedule for next year with Pavel Bure there on the front cover, one of the 3 or 4 real players we got on the team, and there aren't too many. Do you realize that the first exhibitionist game is at against Carolina, away game in Greenville? It's September 14. September 14. We're only a little over a month away from hockey. So that'll bring us back down again once we start talking about that. That's what we need to put us back up on top, a hockey show. Oh! Not. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Fantastic.
Hey, listen, if these politicians in Miami and Broward had 1/10 of the common sense I hear on this show, you wouldn't have to go to Amsterdam. You'd already be there. And as far as this tax is concerned, when you go through the toll plaza, you flip your quarter in there, you're done with it.
Yeah.
Every time they put a tax up there and it accomplishes, well, let's be honest, 1/5 of what it's supposed to do,
right?
They never repeal it. It's there, baby.
Absolutely. This is a vote on a tax for life. There's no question about that. It can only get higher. It's never going to get lower.
You're damn right.
Unlike that gas, the local option gas tax, which they did cut back 2 cents. Once they get the sales tax higher, that never comes back down. There's no such thing.
That's right. They never do what they're supposed to do, and if you live down there, vote no.
No. Thank you so much, pal.
Right.
Now, this can't be the real Gary Nelson from Channel 4, can it?
Neil Rogers, how are you?
My best close personal friend from Channel 4, which I'm still watching because I can't shut it off.
Listen, I've always been a tremendous fan of yours, as you well know.
Yes,
I understand there may have been some confusion this morning relative to just what does a penny amount to.
Right.
And
but I mean, I watched that thing and I thought you were doing a commendable job because you pointed out that it is 15 point whatever percent as far as the increase over the present sales tax, and then it appeared to me that you were letting Governor Penis there, like well, they're playing with numbers. There's no playing with numbers. You put it on the screen yourself there. The fact that it's only a 0.9% increase in the price, that's not what we're talking about. The increase in the price of something. We're talking about the increase in the sales tax, Gary. Aren't we?
Neil, you're absolutely right. And a lot of folks have looked at this and said, oh, well, it's only a penny. It's not really a penny, and it's a 15-point-something%.
But why didn't you say that this morning on television with the tremendous clout you've got? I'm just a radio schmuck. You got a TV thing on there on Channel 4 where at least 20 or 30 people are watching. You've got to emphasize that.
Well, we have reported it in the past, and sometimes I've couched it as another penny on the dollar.
Right.
And sometimes we've said a 15-something% increase in the tax rate.
Right.
But you're right, there is a difference there. I'm on my way up now, as a matter of fact, to Miami Shores to cover the mayor, who's holding another speech on Election Eve.
You must be getting worn out from him.
Well, he's really pretty much, Neil, staked his political status, his political clout all the way around on this issue.
Yeah.
It could conceivably be a make-or-break kind of moment for Alex Pinellas and his aspirations.
Could be an act of self-flagellation on his part.
It'll be interesting to see how it comes out.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
Just based on the
as
people
I reported in the piece last night, though, I took an unscientific poll at an absentee ballot place yesterday. 6 people would tell me how they voted. 3 said they voted for the tax. 3 said they voted against the tax. If my unscientific poll is any indication, it's a real horse race.
Yeah. But that's bad news because then the late votes will come in from Sweetwater and Homestead at 2 in the morning and they'll put it over the top like they did 20 years ago.
Well, that might be another story, Neil. We'll see. Just wanted to touch base with you. You got to hop out of the car and go to work. There are facts to be gathered and truth to be reported. And I appreciate you, as always, watching our product.
And no votes to be voted. Thanks a lot, Gary.
Thank you, Neil.
Okay. So at least on our show, he gave it the way it was. He gave you the straight facts. It's a 15.6% increase in the sales tax. There's nothing complicated about that, Mr. Little Twerp Mayor. There's nothing complex about it. It's a 15.6% increase. How's anybody playing with numbers? You don't have to be a mathematician, a rocket scientist to figure that out. If it was still 6% or whatever, like everywhere else, it would be 1/6. It would be 16.5%, but it's out of 6.5 cents, so it's a little less than that. It's a 15.6% increase in what we're paying for sales tax now, or you're paying, or anybody that's buying stuff in Dade County. And to sit there and, this guy, talk about chutzpah, this damn Mayor Penis would making comments about Norman Bremen. He's got a lot of money. Yeah, he's got a lot of money. Does that make him a bad guy?
No.
How about Mickey Arison? Like I said yesterday, he could buy and sell Norman Bremen with his dad's $9 billion over there tax-free in Israel and all his tax-free money with those cruise ships with that carnival he's running. See, I hate to break the news to you. We don't have to worry about a strong mayor in Miami. You've already got a dictator in Miami, and he wasn't even elected by anybody. His name is Mickey Arison. He's calling all the shots. He's calling all the shots. Get the extra slip in there for him in the Port of Miami. Right down there by that new arena, which the Herald loves. There's a man worth billions of dollars, and he's running the damn county, and nobody ever voted for him for anything, much less dog catcher. And, as Hank pointed out very astutely and accurately yesterday, not only is he not contributing anything to Dade County's economy, he's siphoning money out. The hotels aren't getting the money from those people. The local restaurants and businesses aren't getting the money from those people. They're all whisked right from the airport, zoomed right over to the Port of Miami, and put on his stinky, crappy cruise ships. Which I hope they don't sink like that one was doing I saw up there in the Northwest. You see that one yesterday? A lot of problems on these cruise ships lately. People getting raped on cruise ships. Little 15-year-old boy getting raped. You see that story? All kinds of bad things can happen out there on the cruise ships. Nothing good's going to happen for you, but all kinds of bad things can happen. Not too easy to breathe underwater. That's what we're hearing the last few days anyway. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. God, what a farce. We got Wayne Hypinga we're settled with up there in Broward, although at least, well, of course he's going to put that thing in Sunrise whether people want it or not. You see, that's the way it is when you got the big bucks. That's the way it is. You just run everybody else, all the little people around, because they need a lot more money. The billionaires, they need more of our cash. The Wayne Hypingas and the Bill Gates and the John Henrys and Mickey Damn Arison, who makes me want to barf. And even Pat Riley knows that for a fact, because Pat Riley listened to the show, and he isn't in a position to admit it. But a guy as sharp as Pat Riley, if he could be honest with it, he'd tell Mickey Arison to stick it. He knows. He's been around the block a few times. He knows the kind of crap that goes on in this town for fun and somebody else's profit and not ours. Isn't that great when a so-called major newspaper in our community and the mayor of the entire county consort with a guy who's hurting business in the county, who's siphoning money and taking people, whisking them out of here as fast as he possibly can. Hope those boats don't sink. 10:56, what is it? Somewhere, like out in the Midwest, I guess. I don't know, it's 4 minutes before 1. I'm getting emotional. At 560 WQAM, your highly rated station for the 90s.
It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could offer only one tip for the future, act strange and people will leave you alone. The rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. Put a slinky around your neck and try to walk downstairs backwards head first. Sit naked in a large bowl of Rice Krispies and sing Feelings while the kernels go snap, crackle, and pop. Go up to a ticket booth and try to stick your head through the hole where they say how much. Lick a stranger. Tell them you're from Bosnia and your country. It's a sign of respect. Take lots of pills. One of them might work. Occasionally ask a stranger if they've heard anything from Lewis. Be annoying. During an IRS audit, staple the guy's hand to his desk. Moon a funeral. Play go fetch with a seeing-eye dog while he's working. Run naked through a mall yelling, "Killer bees! Killer bees!" Say the word titty without smiling. Try to figure out who said Pauly Shore should star in movies. Don't be surprised if it's the same guy who said John Gacy should work with kids. Ask an old lady if you can carry her groceries and try to make a run for it. Disappear for great lengths of time. Try to touch your forehead with your tongue. It may not work, but many women will appreciate the effort. At a high school reunion, tell your old English teacher that your dog's still eating your homework. Ask Mark McGuire if he'll take $1 million for one of his balls. Try to find the secret to Carrot Top's success. Understand your conception was an accident, that your parents got wasted and wanted a few more laughs before they passed out. Try not to lose your finger in your nose. Take up Bob Costas and toss him on the lawn next door. Go on a car trip with Bob Costas and force him to stay in his car seat. Try to dribble Bob Costas. Ask all your friends and family for forgiveness. Knowing you've done some crap that's really pissed them off. Wish no ill will to anyone. Unless you don't like them, then screw them, they're on their own. Realize anyone who says they're completely happy are completely full of crap. Ask a Hell's Angel if he's a woman, or has he always walked like that? Understand that there are bad people in the world, and you may just be one of them. Sniff an old lady. Imagine Gomer Pyle in a gay bar trying to get lucky. Do this without laughing. Find what's left of your innocence. Understand it, embrace it, protect it, and every so often, take it out for a nice nosh. Care enough not to care. Hum while you eat. Act strange, and people will leave you alone.
Okay, here's a great fax, by the way. Thank you so much. Old Mark Fisher, who wrote that horrible article about me in the Tropic magazine several years ago, the one with the tears running down my cheeks, they put all that crap in my eyes. At any rate, Mark Fisher, who's terrorizing people in Washington now, he's the special reports editor, and he assigned somebody to write this story that's got everybody up in arms up there. The headline is, Parents Are Alarmed by an Unsettling New Fad in Middle Schools, Oral Sex.
Oi!
How do you like that? A front-page story about middle school students having oral sex was meant by the Washington Post to be a wake-up call for parents about the kind of sexual activities kids are getting involved in these days, but the article did more than simply set off alarm bells among parents about younger teens engaging in sexual experimentation. It also led to the paper receiving a number of email messages and telephone calls, both criticizing and praising the story, and saying, where do we get some? How do you like that? Oral sex in middle school, yay or nay? What do you say, huh?
Uh-huh.
Then we got a thing here about, what is this? Oh, my God. The county this is from the postmaster of Dade County. The county managers informed us that a shortage exists for poll workers July 29th special elections in the areas of the Gables and Kendall. If you're interested in working at the polls on Election Day, our job basis employees and our Dade, Miami registered voter, you must attend one of the 2-hour training classes scheduled as follows, because all the votes will be counted as... Yes! How do you like that? And here's a thing from one of our listeners out there has put a thing out. It says, a penny more for taxes is a penny more for corruption. Send a strong message to our mayor by voting against the tax increase. This message is endorsed and brought to you by the Miami-Dade County Employee Committee Against Corruption and Mismanagement. Oh! Do you like that? A penny more for taxes is a penny more for corruption in this corruption-laden town. And that's not just my statement about the corruption. All the politicians are telling you that's our biggest problem here in Dade County and the city of Miami is corruption. A bunch of crooks. So you want to give them any more of your money?
No.
No, just say no. Excellent. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
How are you, Neil?
Great.
Great show. I love you. And I gotta explain something to me. When they took the tolls off going westbound,
right,
836.
You mean eastbound? Westbound, right?
No, westbound.
Westbound, right?
Westbound. Did that alleviate traffic? No.
No.
Okay. No. When they added the extension from the Palmetto to the Turnpike, did that alleviate traffic?
No.
Okay. It's not this penny thing is not going to work.
Of course not.
It's not. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, let me tell you, one of the easiest roads to drive in this town, and that's the Turnpike. I mean, there are times when you have a wreck and it gets backed up, but I would say
rubberneckers.
Huh?
Rubberneckers.
Yeah, but 95% of the time when there isn't a wreck, and of course there's a 75-cent toll most of the places, although right over here on the County Line Road it's 50 cents, but minimum is 50 cents you're going to pay on the Turnpike. I don't see any problem with people getting backed up. When you get used to paying a toll, even though you may not be too happy about it, it has nothing to do with the flow of traffic.
Exactly. Now explain something to me. You know the extensions and the stations they're making?
The coronal extensions, yeah.
Okay, there's going to be one off of the Palmetto, east off of the Palmetto on Northwest 7th Street. While they're doing all that work there and taking people out of their businesses and homes to build this beautiful, glorious station.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to be driving by there looking at this, backing up traffic.
Right.
Okay. And where do they get off? You know,
but it's only going to take 20 years.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's gonna ruin Miami. It's gonna ruin the whole city.
No.
That word just keeps rocketing through my little brain.
No.
Have a great day, pal.
Like it.
Do it.
No.
Yeah, we'll see just how much impact we can have on this godforsaken place if there's any hope left at all. And when Gary Nelson said that the mayor is hinging his political career on this thing tomorrow, there's a great way to say
no
to him and the kind of crap that he's showing you what he's all about. Hopping in bed with his selfish billionaire who thinks that this whole county exists just for his fun and profit. And a crappy cruise line of his that siphons the money. It's like a gigantic sump pump attached to the county, just sucking the money at the port right out of this town, sucking it into his pocket. No tax revenue, no benefits, no nothing for anybody, including no sales tax, because the people who go on the cruise ships don't pay the sales tax. People in the hotels, yeah, they pay the sales tax. People on the cruise ships, do they pay it?
No.
Boy, talk about a slick piece of crap, man. There he is right there, slipping you the Mickey.
Hi, this is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Way down in Jamaica in the Caribbean.
Oh!
They got the best herb that you ever seen.
All right.
Ask anybody in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
They tell you this the country where the ganja be good.
Oh!
Rastaman has some he want to sell, and from a mile away you can detect the smell of smoke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. He light up the spliff and choke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. The ganja be good. You can carry lots of herb in the gunny sack. Smoke it every day until your lungs turn black. With all the money that we have made, Jamaica doesn't need any foreign aid. American tourists come here and say, got nothing like this in the USA. They smoke, smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. They light up the spliff and choke.
Okay.
They begin to puff and choke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. The ganja be good. Mama tell her son you are a Rasta man. You like to smoke the giant spliff whenever you can. Many people coming here from miles around to buy the herb from you by the ounce and the pound. Rastaman say to her, Mama, you right. The ganja be good tonight. And then they smoke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. They light up the spliff and choke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. Smoke, ganja, smoke, smoke. The ganja be good.
All right.
Come on.
116 at 560 WQAM, your ratings killer, baby.
Oh!
90s on a mediocre AM station way down here on the bottom of the dial. And we're still kicking some very serious ass, just like we're going to do tomorrow at the polls in Dade County. Even those of us who live in Broward are going to vote at least 2 or 3 times. 567-0560, pound 560. I'll tell you one thing right now. You want to raise the revenue? Don't go raising the sales tax. Just legalize weed in Dade County and tax it. You know how the federal government makes all that money from taxing cigarettes?
Uh-huh.
That's right. Even though they keep telling you, oh, it's so evil and we're suing the tobacco companies, but guess what? They're not going to make it illegal because, number one, they couldn't do it, and number two, they don't want to lose all that tax revenue. Same with booze. That's why prohibition's never going to come back. But if they would just legalize the wicked weed and go out there and sell it and put nice hefty sales tax just like they do on cigarettes, we could make millions of dollars on that. Just from the amount that's smoked in this building.
Oh!
Every day. Like they're doing right now, by the way. I want the mayor to know, everybody in this building sitting around with a big one in their hand right now and a joint too. A big joint. Anybody in here got a big joint?
No.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Fort Myers. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your show is so fucking great.
Uh-huh.
Good luck with that vote tomorrow, man. I hope you guys put it down big time.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
I guess he shops at the Sofa King. 567-0560. Well, everybody does is what I'm hearing. And pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. How come I can't find what I'm looking here? Oh, here it is. Look at that. Now, the first book we had on here, after the $80 billion worth of free publicity we had from all the TV stations, 10-3, we had an 11.2 share in Men 25-54. It'll be a cold day in China before we have it. Well, we might do it. But then 8-4, 9 point, that's 10-3 both times. So now we're doing 9.7, 10-3, which means we're doing about maybe an 11 share. 11 share in Men 25-54 between 10 and 2. Very close to what we did that first time. At least at 10-5 anyway. If we could just get just a little bit more of that great promotion from Sam and the nephew, I say that puts us into triple digits. I'm guaranteeing you that. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How's it going?
Great.
Hey, I don't see why anybody in their right mind would vote for this tax if they're living in Dade. First of all, I think it's going to it's going to decrease their revenue. Well, not only are people not going to come up from the Keys to buy stuff, but people that live in Dade are going to be driving up to Broward to buy,
Absolutely correct. That's right. They're going to, in both directions, they're going to send everybody away.
So, I mean, the whole thing, they're going to lose money anyway. All they're going to do is tax the people who are going to live there and actually pay it. They're just going to pay more for nothing.
And like I said yesterday, I'm wondering, how come the Chamber of Commerce types and the business organizations, how come they're not screaming bloody murder about this? Because it's going to hurt them.
Yeah, it's going to hurt a lot of people, and I don't think the people that are voting for it really realize that. They're just not thinking, I guess.
Okay, pal, let's pray for the best.
You have a good day, Neil.
And you too. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. We're going to be making the rounds. We've got Tom Green coming in with some busloads tonight, bringing all those Canadian kids down. We're going to raid all the cemeteries, get all the dead people ready for that big vote tomorrow. It's fun, Tom Green. Tomorrow night, by the way, 10:30 on MTV. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
What the hell was that?
Oh, that's the Beach Boys. Remember them?
Yeah. It sounded like the Beach Boys through a strainer is what it sounded like to me.
Some old radio jingles I have of the Beach Boys.
Uh-huh.
Hey, today's my birthday, Neil.
Yeah. After playing that crap, you want to hear that?
Oh, thank you. Congratulations on your big numbers.
Thank you so much, and well deserved, by the way, too.
How's our friend Rick and our friend Suds doing?
They did good. They went from like a 0.7 or something in the morning to a 3.5 in this book.
All right.
One book, yeah.
All right, and remember, tomorrow, just say no!
Okay, bring in the Beach Boys. Get Brian out of bed. Let him vote, too. Even the dead ones, bring them in. Bring in Dennis and Carl. Poor Carl. Fat Carl Wilson, huh? Dead. Fat. 567-0560, pound 560. We got about 800 open lines here. We got 40 minutes to kill. 40 minutes until the big moment. I'm going to go out and vote myself, absentee. I just moved to Dade County. Nobody knows that I didn't. Just tell them that. Here's a call from Orlando.
Hey, Neil, I'm going to be one of the condescending callers, but if I lived in Dade still, I'd vote yes. And just because I know you tout Amsterdam in Europe, and what a wonderful metro system any European city has over anything we have here.
Yeah.
So
well, let me ask you something. In Amsterdam, for example, you take all the tram, or you take a bus, and you go to the heart of the city. There's things going on. In fact, I don't take any of that transportation because Amsterdam's the kind of city you can walk around it and go wherever you want to go. Is South Florida that kind of an area?
No, I agree.
Where do you walk to? Where do you get off and where do you walk to?
I agree. Neil.
So what's the comparison? What do you mean you would vote yes?
Well, because maybe with a train service, there might develop some kind of walking. I mean,
So in other words, you build the trains first, and then you're going to rebuild the whole county so that people start going. Sir, you're living in La La Land.
Well, Neil, they built trains, from the East Coast to the West Coast back when the prairie was empty, and then they're building.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there's Mr. Pioneer up in Orlando. Last thing we need is some jackass in Orlando. He was just about to launch into his Jim Phillips tirade too next, I'll bet. Somebody up in Orlando telling us what we need here in South Florida. That's just what we need. Next we'll be getting that jackass from St. Louis. Of course, he's probably squeezing himself. Oh, yeah. He's probably squeezing himself since he heard about that FCC deal. He's probably got a bloody stump is all he's got left. Too bad, pal. We're doing bigger and stronger than ever and just ramming right ahead. In spite of retards, anal retentive retards like you. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless. And you know something? Thank God you're up in Orlando, which means you won't be voting here tomorrow. Oh! Let's have a party about that. Oh, yeah, the trains were built from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, take a look at what we got here now. Like we have a lot of wide open spaces. We're going to be having a lot of new erections in Dade County. I hate to break the news to you, pal, but to the west coast of us is this thing called the Everglades. Just ask some of those tree huggers, okay? They'll tell you. The manatees and the crocodiles and the rest of that croc, which is what this is all about. Yeah. We're going to start rebuilding now. Let's get all the pioneers in here. Here's Homestead. Hello. Homestead.
Oh, yes. Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a comment. I live deep Homestead in an area, with the exception of the Redlands, deep south of Cutler Ridge.
Yeah.
I can't see anybody in their right mind down here voting for that thing, especially with all the HUD, all the low-income housing we have down here.
Right.
This is going to be it's going to be a killer as far as on the economy. And with tomorrow, I hope people really get out and really go out there and vote no on this thing.
Please.
Another comment is on that other earlier caller on on Mayor Pinellas, that road he's got named, that was named way before he was even mayor of this county. And in closing...
Well, but who is it named? I don't understand. Who is it named for?
It's named after him.
And it was named after him before he was elected mayor?
Absolutely.
Based on what? Being one commissioner?
I guess that's...
What the hell is that all about?
It's true. You can check that out.
Oh, my God.
That. And in closing, here's my closing comment is, say no on Julio 29.
Okay, thank you. God bless you, sir. Now, where the hell is Johnny Jones Jetway? Yeah, we have Johnny Jones Highway with the golden plumbing fixtures. That was before your time. But remember Johnny Jones? Former superintendent of Dade County Schools, had the golden plumbing fixtures in his joint, in his vacation joint, paid for by taxpayer money, by the way. He went to the Hoosgow, now he's dead. Oh, yeah, we've got a long history of corruption here that would make even Huey Long and Huey Lewis in the News cry. I'll tell you that right now. All those, that Dick Daley and all those other dicks up there in Chicago with all the corruption they're famous for, the mob and all, they're like pikers compared to what goes on here. We got the big-time crooks here. Make no mistake about that. And most of them hold public office. Oh! How's Bert Hernandez doing, by the way? We're letting him out tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to use him. He's going to bring in 23,000 no votes tomorrow before noon. Bert. Making a deal with him. And Joe Gerston's coming back to town to vote no, too. Here's Kendall. Hello.
And you stole my thunder.
Joe Gerston's got a nose for where the no votes are. Yes, sir.
I was just about to ask you which way is Bert going to vote on this one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No.
We're making a deal with him. We're going to let him out early.
Hey,
so we can go chase after his wife and that attorney.
You're right about one thing. The Miami Herald, what a rag that is, has no backbone to tell it how.
No, not only backbone, just a self-serving piece of crap. All the stuff they put in there is for their own interest, and then they pretend that they're a bunch of goody two-shoes looking out for the rest of us.
And you're right about that example you give about the casinos. You know, we don't want it here, but then they do that expose.
Yeah, let me ask you something. If we had all that millions and billions of dollars tax revenue from casinos here, would we have to tax the public anymore to build highways?
No.
And to build metro rail?
No.
I mean, this could be paradise here. We'd have all these other people coming in, leaving their money for us. But, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. And do me a favor, clarify one thing. I don't remember, not too much on the information, but you said that Pinellas was against something before he got elected, and then...
Yeah, that was the arena, the American Airlines arena, and he was vehemently opposed to it. He promised that he was going to oppose that. It was on a ballot. He said he was going to vote no, and he urged the people to vote no. And then all of a sudden, the day after he gets elected, he just made this great deal with Mickey Arison, and
how did he explain himself on that?
He what do you mean? Who holds him accountable? He doesn't have to explain nothing. And then they put it on a ballot. If you're for it, you vote no, and if you're against it, you vote yes, to confuse the voters. And they rigged that thing too and shoved that through.
Well, I'm voting no.
God bless you.
And Phil Henry, God.
All right. Here's a guy who said
no.
Okay. 5670560. Oh yeah, that's right. He wouldn't deal with Mickey Arison. Gets elected on a lie, and then he stands there in front of us and said, this is going to be another one of those deals. Jesus Christ. That was only like a couple of years ago. Like we're supposed to forget. Even Ron Reagan remembers that. Senior. Remember him?
No.
126 at 560 WQAM.
The Hoover out the moon, man.
In theaters now.
It's the totally new Star Wars. Yoda loses his virginity.
Oh, R2-D2, you are one hot mama. Oh, what's happening to me? Oh, my. Oh, what's this? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yes.
Yoda gets jiggy with R2-D2.
Ooh, R2-D2. Give it to me, baby.
Showing now in a theater near you.
Oh, my God, this Bill Dreck thing. I haven't shown this away yet in the Sun Sentinel this morning. These 2 pages on Generation Yo. Yeah, Generation Yo with the little trill on it. Let me just tear that up right now, okay, before I make the mistake of reading that again, because...
Whammy! God, it sucks.
That's what Bill Dreck said. Oh, he's on there doing live commercial cut-ins every night of the week. That's what it says. Isn't that great? What do you do for a living? Oh, I have this rag silly magazine I put out that nobody with a brain reads except a bunch of people who are living in some kind of a cultural warp. And I do live cut-in commercials on it. He's almost as famous as Joey Carr. Anyway, let's get about 200 calls in between now and 2 because now you can feel the tension mounting. You can feel the excitement. You can cut it with a toe. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to explain something to you, which I know you know, but something to some of the people that listen that probably don't know. Luckily enough, I myself have traveled a lot to countries and cities in the U.S. that have really good rail systems.
Right.
Like New York.
Right.
As bad as New York is, the rail system is great.
Right. Chicago.
And Paris also. Paris sucks, but the rail system is also, the metro is great.
Right. Milan, Italy.
And what I try and explain to people is that, not that we don't have enough people, but our population density is too spread out.
Right.
In New York, in one city block, you have a building that's 40 stories, and in Europe also, and the first floor is all commercial, but from floor 2 to 40, it's all residential. So they can support. There's enough money of people living in that one building to support not only the businesses that live that house the first and second floor,
right,
but a rail stop near that area.
Well, I'll give you,
and that'll never happen here.
I'll give you right here in
People
North
don't
America,
understand
a city that's got a great subway system is Toronto. They have fantastic transportation. The difference being that they have real commercial areas like the downtown area and like Bloor Street and Yonge and like all different parts of town where there is commercial activity going on, where you can walk and do business and do your thing. That doesn't exist here. There's no such thing here.
It just won't work. And in closing, on Friday, just say no.
How about tomorrow? Okay, thank you. Friday, say no, and tomorrow would be a good idea, too. In fact, tomorrow first. I mean, this guy from Orlando that wants us to rebuild the whole area so that, let's build a thing first, spend billions of dollars to build this thing, and then we'll make a city around it. And we'll change everybody's way of life here, and we'll all turn in our cars. How's that sound? Is that going to happen?
No.
Silly person. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you today?
Fantastic.
I know this seems kind of crazy with this issue with the trains, but if they would have done it from the beginning in the trail and made it like, because you got Trilo that goes up by 95, they would have taken Metro Rail and went up University Drive.
Yeah.
With that,
University Drive. Sir, University Drive is in Broward County. There's not going to be any of this in Broward County. Not one.
I know that, but you got to remember how many people transit from Broward to Dade.
Yeah.
And
well, but let me ask you this. Okay, you take the Metro Rail. Let's say you live in Kendall, and you take them this train from Kendall to up University Drive to, let's say, Broward Boulevard. Then what? Then what do you do, sir? What is it?
It's crazy. I mean, you think about the train.
Okay, your phone's crapping out. Okay, I thought maybe he was just speechless, but his phone's crapping out. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You run into Martha and the Vandellas, they're going to be sitting there running the train. Nowhere to go. That guy before talking about Amsterdam, a classic example. A place you can walk. You can walk and walk. You don't ever even have to hop on your little bicycle like so many of them have there. And he neglects to mention that, too, by the way, that it's such a compact city that thousands and thousands of people there. In fact, there are more bicycles in that city than any other city in the world. They ride their bicycles, and they also have the tram and the trolley and the buses, et cetera, and so on. But it's not a city where you need it because there are areas where you go to and you spend your whole life there, basically, or most of the day every day. If you live outside, away from the city, then you hop on the train at the end of the day or the tram or whatever, and you go there. There's no such thing here. Take a look at it. Get with it. Stop bringing in these ridiculous comparisons with places that aren't like this. In fact, thank goodness, there is no place that's quite like this. Here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Great.
I was just thinking I'm going to get all my dead ancestors to vote no on Pinga's penny tax.
All right.
And you know he can shove that penny?
Yeah, deep inside his
rectum.
Sounds good to me. That's what Penny from Fort Lauderdale said. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. So Mayor Pinga's putting his whole political reputation on the line tomorrow. So think of that, too, when you go out there to vote no 2 or 3 times. To reject and repudiate a man who would lie to you and hop into bed with a multi-billionaire who's just fleecing this town for everything he can squeeze out of it. And I do mean out of it. Not into it, out of it, out of it, out of it. You are out of it if you vote yes, I'll tell you that. You're way out of it. You're in la-la land if you get sucked into this. You have nobody to blame but you. And let me say it again. I can be a hell of a lot more objective because it ain't going to cost me a dime. I live in Broward County, okay? I don't live in Dade County. Maybe it'll cost me a few more cents on that toll, but you know something? On the 112, if I go to the airport, big stinking deal. I can handle the 50 cents a week. In fact, let's see, I don't go to the airport every week. I can handle the 50 cents 2 or 3 times a month. And you know something? Even the most desperate and impoverished people in this town can afford it too, because if they can't afford the extra quarter a few times a month, then they shouldn't be driving in the first place. They can't afford an automobile. They can't afford the gas if that's going to make that much of a difference in their lives. But the sales tax, that's going to make a big difference in their lives. How do they afford that?
Packwood can't keep his pecker in his pants.
Peeping through the keyhole, watching Mom and Dad. Peeping through the keyhole, the most fun we ever had. Mom and Dad were playing tag right there on the bed. Mommy used her boobies as a pillow for Daddy's head. Mommy's head was bobbing, she almost got whiplash. I don't know what she was drinking, but she got a milk mustache. Peeping through the keyhole, ain't sure what I see, but I sure do like it more than anything on TV. Mom and Dad were hooked together like my Lincoln logs. Last time I saw something like that, Mom was yelling at the dog. Dad was breathing heavy. Mom was on her knees. He must have had a boo-boo, 'cause she kissed him where he pees. Peeping through the keyhole, watching Mom and Dad. Peeping through the keyhole, the most fun we ever had. Well, we watched a little longer, and I started to get sick. If Daddy's name is Elmer, why Mom asked for Dick? Daddy groaned and his eyes rolled back. Mommy wanted more. She climbed back on top of him, but all he did was snore. Peeping through the keyhole, as the minutes pass. I can't wait to try this out on some girl in my class.
All right.
I can't wait to try this out on some girl in my class.
Yes. Okay, 16 till 2 at 560 WQM on one of the most great days. Can't say monumental. In the history of our lives, baby, the ratings are in. Oh! Bad news is, of course, because bald little Tom Jicka, because our little bald-headed friend over there at the Sun Sentinel's out in Pasadena.
He's bald, stupid!
Doing that the TV new season, fall season thing every day. So there's nobody here that owns a radio at either newspaper. So the fact that we got these great ratings here on QAM, they'll have another excuse not to write anything about that, just like that FCC story. That's what makes it even more amazing that we do as well as we do. No promotion. We live in a vacuum. The only time we ever get mentioned is when Barry Jackass and the Herald are taking shots at us. And other than that, we're invisible. And we're still kicking ass.
Oh!
How do you like that? In spite of it, in spite of all these Ojan provocateur goyim in this town. And let me say it again. If you have any doubts about it, if you're like wavering about this thing tomorrow and you're a registered voter in Dade County, just read again that one short paragraph in the Herald, in that Hearts and Flowers, the tears are coming to my eyes, either from laughing or crying this morning. The lead editorial, A Tale of Two Futures. Talk about scare tactics. Talk about, this is even worse than their hysteria about casino gambling, and the sky's going to fall if it should pass. Oh, yeah, if voters say no. Meanwhile, the business climate deteriorates. Is there any logic to that if the voters don't increase the sales tax, the business climate will deteriorate?
No.
I don't get it. The economy declines, the tax base withers, poverty worsens, and the parts of this once vibrant community take on the look and feel of a third world backwater. You guys, Tom Fiedler, you need to get that trench coat off and go around town a little more and take a look at Lemon City and Overtown and lots of other parts of Dade County that for years have already looked like a third world backwater. Which, by the way, that's why Dade County is a third world country, because of the politicians that you're supporting. A banana boat republic. Running down there to welcome our people. It was our people. Oh, it was a disgrace. Running foreign policy out of Dade County. Running the Coast Guard out of Dade County. And again, it's not to make you laugh, because they continue pandering to people who are not interested, who hate them. You can keep pandering until your back breaks, and they still hate you like poison. All those damn hysterical domino players. So the Herald, one thing, at least they're consistent. They don't serve anybody. They don't really have a constituency except themselves. They are their own constituency. And at least they live up to that. Whatever is good for the Herald, that's what's good for us, is what they would like us to believe. Do we believe it?
No.
No. Here's a mobile in Miami Shores. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just finished watching Mayor Half a Spanish Penis
Yeah.
give a little speech over at the Miami Shores Country Club. I was having lunch there. Unbeknownst to me, he's speaking to the North Miami Chamber of Commerce, and little midget Mark Lutner was interviewing him right as I was walking out.
Yeah.
Guy's about 4'8" with curly, girly
Yeah,
hair.
he's even shorter than Ricky Tiki Sanchez, yeah.
And he's there, and he's saying in his perfectly polished face why this tax has to go through because it can't get any more congested on the roadways. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, it sucks now. It's going to suck after, and then I'm going to have to pay an extra percent.
Mm-hmm.
Not a penny, but a percent. So as I tried to work my way around the side, I put my thumb down next to Pinellas' ear before they ushered me out. But it felt good.
You put your thumb down next to his ear?
Like in a no vote.
Oh, I thought maybe you put your thumb like right by his ear because I understand he likes that.
I would have liked to have stuck it up to that and spin him like a top, but that I don't know if I would have been arrested for that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, bud.
Okay. What did he say? He would like to have stuck his thumb in his
rectum
and pulled out a plum? Is that what he said? Oh, maybe a political plum is what he was talking about, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. No, I hear he likes the thing on the earlobe is what I hear, and the thumb, too. 5670560. Like I said, I look at him and I keep thinking, Maricon! Every time I see him. I think that guy who called Hank was onto something. Or maybe was on something. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good job today.
Yes,
and
I did.
I really enjoyed Mr. Friedman this morning.
Right. Thank God he called in. The guy that knows what he's talking about.
That's absolutely true. We have been out passing out circulars. We had copies made, and I had only one person say they were going to vote yes.
Oh.
Everybody that we talked to...
I hope he locked them up somewhere till after tomorrow.
No. Only one person said yes. Everyone else said absolutely not.
Out of how many?
Out of hundreds.
Really?
Hundreds. And this was at two different locations we went to yesterday.
Right.
And everybody is really upset about this tax. And as far as this metro rail going up the 27th Avenue?
Up the Hershey Highway, yeah.
Right. Why are we going to send a train to the Mafia Man Stadium?
Yeah.
And number two...
In addition to which, nobody's going to be playing there except the Dolphins anyway. What's the point? John Henry is bailing out. Either they're going to be out of business or they're going to play someplace else. There's no reason for anybody to want to go there. Listen, I work just 3 or 4 miles from the stadium, okay? 2-3 miles, whatever it is. If the train went right from my house, which it never will because I live in Western Broward, but even if it did, what would I do then?
Right.
What would I do then? Am I going to take a bus from the stadium to come to the corner of 4-5? Of course not.
Well, maybe you could apply for one of the Cadillacs that Reagan said.
Right. I'll take it. Or maybe they just could pick me up in a limo.
Right.
Which after these ratings came out, they should.
Also, there is transportation up 95 already. You take Metro Rail to 79th Street and get on Tri-Rail. It takes you all the way to West Palm Beach.
Absolutely correct.
And another thing, I would like to know how much Mickey Aronson paid Mayor Pinga for his little switching vote when we were collecting signatures against that new arena.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayor and his wife both signed. And 3 days later, he flip-flopped.
Right.
And
he got elected on the campaign promise. That was his major thing, was that he wasn't going to let some billionaire run the county and build another a needless arena 4 blocks away from the outdated one that we already wasted all that money on.
Right. But it's ridiculous, and people are finally waking up to what's going on. And this place, I don't know how much worse it can get. Okay.
Well, do the job tomorrow.
I am.
Thanks.
Bye.
9 minutes before 2 at 560 WQM. Everywhere she goes, they're saying,
no.
That's what I'm hearing.
No.
In my brain, it's rattling around right next to my earlobe where the guy had his thumb.
No.
That's right. Hey, there's a new show in town that opened last weekend at the Drama Center called Naked Boy Singing. That is a must-see. That's what George says. He says it's out of this world.